and welcome to OSW Review, the old school wrestling video podcast. Filmed in glorious grapple vision and encoded with blast processing, we chronologically critique wrestling storylines pay-per-view by pay-per-view. This is your host from your oasis for good times with wrestling. It's your Noel Gallagher, Jay Hunter. I think in OSC he'd be Liam Gallagher because he throws a strop constantly.
Okay.
And he's not here to defend himself. V1, you'd be Bonehead, I think.
Okay. Which one is that?
The rhythm guitarist.
The rhythm guitarist.
The
okay.
backbone
I
of
can
Oasis.
hit the backbone.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take that. What's the correct?
And here comes a new challenger. Our very own Damon Albarn of the group, Tom Campbell.
I'd rather just be guy at number 497 in the queue, waiting to get tickets to see you two perform.
Waiting to get scalped.
I was thinking far more diverse and creative. Has done shit since the 90s.
You say that, but...
Yes, Tom Campbell of Cultaholic. He's a radio presenter on BBC News, or ring announcer for North Wrestling and Progress, and backstage interviewer for Defiant, and just had his amazing play-by-play on World of Sport.
My God. What are you doing talking to us clowns?
Sorry, I need to correct a couple of those.
Oh shit, are you serious?
I'm a presenter for BBC Radio Newcastle.
Yes.
If I worked on BBC News...
Did I say BBC News?
I believe my good lady, who is a qualified journalist, would have a conniption fit. Me reading actual news. I was a Defiant interviewer for one day.
Yes.
And it was because I turned up to watch the Defiant show in Sheffield, and they went, "Oh, would you mind just interviewing Joe Hendry?" I was like, "Yeah, fine." I brought my suit jacket. World of Sport, actually, it may have just come out by the time this goes out.
Oh, it's definitely... It's been out like 4 weeks now.
It's been out a year.
Yeah.
It's been back and gone again. Yes, so otherwise, everything else was there. Hello, friends.
Fantastic. Because we've been friendly with you for years and years, and you did an amazing, wonderful ad break questionnaire for us for the Xmas 97 Nitro with North Wrestling. Oh my God. Your ad break questionnaire, whenever I'm trying to... I was going to say coerce. No, it's entirely consensual when other people are like, "Hey, do you want to do an ad break questionnaire? Here's the one. You should do something like Tom." You're the best example because I love what you did for us there. It was so much fun.
I want you to know just how much OSW Review reaches, because I pitched that to Andrew Bowers, who's the promoter of North Wrestling. I said, "Do you mind if I just borrow the crowd when we come back from intermission for about 5 minutes?" He said, "Oh, we're a bit tight. What's it for?" I said, "I'm doing an ad break questionnaire for OSW Review." And he went, "Oh, right, okay, take as long as you want."
That's so nice.
The love is in the room everywhere I may roam for OSW Review. So that was a great pleasure. Big shout to North Wrestling, who... my home promotion, and of all the many 10,000 jobs that I do, I think that's probably that, and of course Cultaholic Wrestling. They're my favourites.
You're legally obliged to say that second one.
Well, I'm very aware that a lot of the stuff that would be happening to me now wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It had Adam Pacitti not pulled me out of the doldrums of the breaking radio industry when I lost my job at Heart. So I'm forever grateful that he gave me a chance, and he's kept me on for 5+ years and counting. Very grateful. And because of that, I think lots of nice things has happened, including hanging out with you two.
Woo!
What's this all about? What multiverse is this? What am I doing here?
Yeah. I thought since we both attended All In, why not have Tom on the show to chat about it?
We did, didn't we?
Also, it's like, it is weird covering AEW when there's not a huge scandal.
I was only thinking about that. Is this the first time we've ever covered AEW and we just get to talk about the actual show?
Because it's like AEW Revolution with the farty pyro, wildly lambasted finish, or like Punk leaving in a blaze of sour grapes with All In and All Out 2023. Yeah, there is some ska, but it's mostly kind of contained to the reporter scrum asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get onto that a bit later.
I look around and all I see is egos out of control. Everywhere I look, it permeates AEW. It's crawling with egos out of control, and I can't take it anymore.
In general, how is AEW doing? Not great. Down 20% from this time last year TV ratings wise and that. Big Kahuna, Tuna Meltzer says, on Warner, Big Bang Theory reruns are more valuable than AEW.
Shit.
And it's like, that sounds insulting, but it's like, you don't appreciate the immense reach of Big Bang Theory. Like, it's just on multiple times a day. That's like saying, oh, you're not as big as The Simpsons in the 90s.
Yeah, or
do you know what I mean?
Friends.
Yeah.
And it's also cheap because all the episodes are in the can. It's like how on Channel 4 in the UK, they've looped Frasier for the last 25 years because it's all just there. And it does really well numbers-wise, same as Big Bang Theory.
And Hollyoaks as well. I know The Rock's a huge fan. Never misses an episode. Creatively, Steve, how has AEW been since All In, All Out last year?
It's been up and down. I would say that they're currently on an upswing. The build to All In, All Out 2023 was like one of the lower moments. And I feel that once they kind of got the belt onto Swerve and Tony Khan began to focus and able to actually build programs that lead to matches that we want to see, I definitely feel like it's been on the up, I'd say, for the last 3 or 4 months.
And they've had a really unfortunate spate of injuries, like Adam Cole's been injured, MJF got injured, unfortunately Chris Jericho not injured. In May, Edge got injured and Kenny had his retirement due to diverticulitis, Brock Lesnar disease. But on the plus side, AEW signed Will Ospreay and Okada in March.
Yeah. And Ospreay came in and just immediately settled into that top babyface role. He's fantastic.
Yeah. But despite all these setbacks, initial ticket sign-up for All In was comparable to last year's. And they crossed the 50,000 tickets sold a few days before the pay-per-view, which is super impressive. By the way, the setup for Wembley was for just under 54,000. They have a larger set with multiple sections tarped off. But I'd say, because I was in the reporter area, it is the worst vantage point to record footage because you're just looking at all the tarped off sections.
I resisted filming a lot of stuff from where I was sat because it just opens up that conversation about people who come down on AEW for attendance numbers. Because you're right in what you say, 50,000 is still really, really, really good. That's still incredible. It's down on last year, but it's amazing.
Yeah, like 50,000 plus bums in seats would still bring it to one of the biggest wrestling shows of all time. Like, if you take off a couple of Manias, there's not many in the history of professional wrestling that have been bigger shows than this.
Yeah, but just zoom out. We live in a time where multiple wrestling companies can sell out stadiums. That's insane. Wrestling is so fucking hot at the moment. And just in case anyone needs to hear this, you can watch both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can enjoy them.
Case in point, what's happening in the world of wrestling? Or, wow, for sure. In early August 3rd, WWE SummerSlam happened. Drew versus Punk fighting over a bracelet.
Man.
You really watered it down to it.
It really did. You know, we were like talking about, like AEW as being on a downswing and an upswing. And like Drew versus Punk, for one guy who was injured and who wasn't featured for months and months and months, it was like the hottest feud on television. Drew single-handedly carrying this thing, doing an amazing job both on camera and on his phone because his social media game is out of this world. Yeah. And then they brought Seth back. And then they had a fucking bracelet. And then they talked about a dog.
An ugly dog.
Yeah, a wildly cretinous dog. And I personally thought that they shit the bed at SummerSlam, which makes me sad because I thought the feud was amazing up until that point. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Rollins has put the bracelet.
I think they were holding back at SummerSlam because this is going to be a 3-match series. You don't want to give the whole game away in match number 1. You want to leave them wanting a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And so relief set in when they had their match at Bash at Berlin, the strap match that was much improved on that match at SummerSlam. And then heading into what I believe hasn't been announced yet, but looking like a Hell in a Cell match in October. That's going to be a phenomenal affair because of it.
Tom, would you be able to, because I might not have this episode out for 4 or 5 weeks, do you think you would be able to make definitive statements but like record both of them at the same time? So, and then they had their third match, which was fucking amazing. Of
course.
And then they had their third match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that now. And then they had their third match, that Hell in a Cell, and it was phenomenal in comparison. I'll do another. And then they had their third match, the Hell in a Cell, which admittedly shat the bed, but the theory still stands.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That
He's a
was
pro.
beautiful.
Yeah, pro.
I tell you, OOC's seat is always open if you want to kick him out and join. That was way better than him.
Now, the big thing out of Bash at Berlin was Drew McIntyre. He had the bracelet on his person, and he just beside his Mickey, and he takes it out, and he puts it on, and
Waft.
and then Punk wins the match, gets the bracelet back, and he through that bracelet, he transitively kissed Drew's knob. And now you know what transitive means.
Sin on that.
I nearly kissed you on the knob then.
In New Japan Pro Wrestling, Zack Sabre Jr. won the G1 Climax 34 tournament final against Yota Tsuji, who is mates in LIJ as well. Naito's the road dog of LIJ.
But is he a better wrestler than Bret Hart, like the Road Dogg was?
Absolutely not, sir. But my favourite spot from that was actually the finish, where Zack Sabre Jr. manages to lock all of his limbs with his limbs and then gets the submission. Amazing. Sorry, I'm just going to talk about two more nothing to do with AEW things, if that's alright. I always do this to you. You're used to this now.
Oh, yeah. This is just par for the course.
At Rev Pro's Summer Sizzler, MJF defeated local mainstay Michael Oku to keep his American title. Sorry, do you know Michael Oku?
Oh, God, love Michael Oku. Yeah, he's been on Cold Talk several times. I've announced him many times. Genuine talent. If he's not there already, he's America bound for good. I think he's so good. Him and Amira are just a wonderful pair.
How was his match with Ospreay?
Oh, the one at Rev Pro last year?
Yeah.
Outstanding. Unbelievable. And the right result as well, because it was Michael Oku finally exorcising the demon that he couldn't beat Ospreay, and he beats him on the biggest platform. And they tell this amazing story over almost an hour that ends with Oku tapping out Will Ospreay as Ospreay's on his way to the States, as Tony Khan is watching in the stands. And it catapults Oku and just really locks in the fact that he is the guy.
Oh man, he had an amazing spot where he was in the ring, MJF is on the ground, and he's on the top turnbuckle gonna do a splash, so MJF says, I'm just gonna roll away from you, fuck you, and Oku decides, okay, I'll just jump 18 foot, and phew, and hits him. It was incredible.
Awesome.
You and Michael saying, F you too!
By the way, oh my god, MJF, he's in Hulk Hogan red and yellow.
Yes.
And he does, like, when Oku goes to hit him, he'll just start hulking up. And then he just, he goes right into it. He gets punched and he's like, you. And then he does a big boot and then he goes for the big leg and misses. And it's fantastic.
He starts the match on the mic by telling Michael Oku, I am a real American. I fight for the rights of every man.
I am a real American. I fight for the rights of every man.
Oh, come again. Okay.
Incredible, sir. TNA Emergence at the end of August. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth successfully defends his TNA title against Josh Alexander. But oh my god, I was like, I should probably not cover this because I'll have to splice a bit of the audio. But as soon as the match rings, because it's an Iron Man, they're going TNA. Silence. And it's, oh lads. Oh my god, nobody cares.
Yeah.
World title. Who can outlast who between two of the best
of TNA wrestling. Two of the best going on the planet today.
The big scar of that is that JBL comes in his black trench coat and he gives words of encouragement to Dolph.
That young upstart.
Yes.
Barely 20 years in the business.
Yes.
JBL is up to something and I'm terrified about it.
Yeah.
Because he turned up at TNA, he turned up at AAA,
yes.
He turned up in GCW,
yes.
He'll be on Good Morning Britain in a couple of weeks. He's cooking up something, and I'm nervous that it might be some sort of multi-inter-promotional faction, like the Cabinet returns, but now it can travel to any promotion at any time.
Oh my God.
That would be amazing, actually. I would love that. He did say, I think I saw him on Twitter, he was like, oh yeah, I'm scouting for Triple H. And I was like, oh, okay.
Are you balls? You're scouting for JBL.
Oh, actually, like the best thing about TNA Emergence was Joe Hendry tagged with the Hardys, and the Hardys were just like, okay, he's on fire, let's do your entrance. And, you know, Joe Hendry has his amazing song, and he morphs it into the Hardy Boys song.
Oh.
The three of them are on the Titantrons, and they're all just clapping to this song as well. I was like, oh my God!
I believe in the Hardys.
This guy has even infected the Hardys!
I know he's in TNA, but
for now,
get him out of there. Get him on Raw every week. There's no wrestler out there who's more tailor-made for that mid-card to upper mid-card WWE weekly segment superstar treatment. He has what it takes to be a television superstar.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
And with AEW, 30 people on the pre-show, 42 people wrestling on the main pay-per-view, 72 people, and they couldn't find a spot for MXM.
I know, right? Come on, lads.
Very sad. But Mansoor was busy headlining a CMLL show the week prior in a 6-man tag. It's like, you know, when I'm watching wrestling, I'm just drawn to hot dogging. It's just my favourite part of the match. Because, like, he'll do a shoulder block and do the model ab pose, and then do a scoop slam, and then gun show, and mwah.
Yep.
And that's just my favourite bit.
It's like, you know, can we please have MXM and the Outrunners?
Oh my God!
Just main event all in 2025, please.
Please.
I love the Outrunners. Like, wrestling, I think, and this is why I was drawn to you guys all those years ago, is that wrestling's best when it's inherently bollocks.
Yep.
Yes.
And I say it with all the love. The Outrunners are the best kind of bollocks. And long may that remain.
Yeah.
Same with MXM. That's like
Absolutely.
That's the sort of stuff that wrestling's great foundation is built on. Not like the slammer Dave Johnson. I want characters. I want men telling us, very obviously, that they're the youngest men alive, whilst flexing their 80s muscles. That's the world there. That's the dream. Love them.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, Turbo Magnum and Truth Floyd, your man Floyd, he posted out, it was like, paying dues is for chumps. And some twat on Twitter was like, paying dues is part of the business. Undertaker would have beat the shit out of you for this. And Turbo Floyd is like, I'd like to see him try.
Yes!
And Dax actually got in on it, just saying, crazy thing is, he watched you guys while he was growing up, and you're still younger than all of us. Oh my God, these guys, get them on pay-per-view.
Satire is dead online. It's such a shame.
Kane, we're looking for you. You're looking at the youngest man alive.
So we come to All In Weekend. Tom, do you ever find that line for Maffew?
I'm so happy that this has come up.
Can you explain this one to our fans?
Oh, I'll do my best. So I am blessed to have Maffew Gregg in my life. We do the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review every Saturday. And it is, if you like the OSW boys and you want like a lighter version of it between episodes, check us out every week. We just talk shite and sometimes talk about wrestling. You know how like Maffew is such a pillar of the wrestling YouTube world.
Big time.
I started a rumour that there was going to be a line at Wembley where people could queue up and Maffew could nosh them off. And it was something that I'd said as a joke to start a podcast the one day, and we kept referencing it, going, hey, people are queuing right now, apparently. And throughout the weekend, I had people coming up to me going, looking for the start of Maffew's line. I apologise to Maffew for that joke getting a little bit out of hand. He is wrestling's Robin Hood.
Yes.
He robs from the rich and noshes off the poor.
I'd surprise. That's very what's the word? Giving. You know, not to all stay in the same spot and have a line of men do me. Do you know?
And women and all in between. He is equal opportunity.
Oh wow. Okay, he's just greedy then.
Just greedy.
I remember talking to him. Asked if he ever been with a fan, and he was very firm in his answers. I've earned all my shags. Great guy, absolutely great guy.
Let's get it go. Winning England, Dynamite Kid, Toni Billington.
All In 2024 pre-show, aka 0 Hour. A 16-man tag, an 8x8 bout, featuring Tommy Billington, not Dynamite Kid, but his nephew, Kip Sabian of House Hufflepuff, Rocky Romero, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Action Andretti, and Top Flight versus Total Non-Stop Arseholes. Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Anthony Ogogo, Arya Davari, Private Party, and Dark Order. Tom, Total Non-Stop Arseholes?
So, at the start of the year, I just decided that Jeff Jarrett's faction needed a name. And Total Non-Stop Arseholes is the name that stuck. I think it worked quite well. It became a talking point on Jeff Jarrett's podcast.
Oh, wow.
Like Tom suggested it and they went with it.
I love it.
Yeah, well, they haven't officially gone with it. Jeff's still playing coy about it, but he knows it's a great name. But yeah, I mean, Jeff proceeds to call me the biggest idiot with probable mental problems because I was quite aggressive in the way that I pushed it. I use my platform for evil sometimes. And on this occasion, it was asking people on numerous Cultaholic news videos to tweet Jeff Jarrett and just say, you should call your team Total Non-Stop Arseholes. But this is how we ended up booking Jeff Jarrett versus Grado last year, by just using the Cultaholic platform for evil. Just getting people to tweet Tony Khan, calling him a coward. And it worked. It got Grado and Jeff Jarrett on the show last year. I didn't think it was my fault until Jeff Jarrett on my world went, yeah, we've got to hand it to Tom Campbell. It's his fault.
Yay.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You've influenced the wrestling world for good.
Tom Campbell of Cultaholic, Conrad. You familiar with Tom?
Oh, yeah.
TNT, Kid Billington, and Lethal to kick off. 8 versus 8. I assume we'll get each to do a spot until everyone gets in for the schmaltz at the end.
Pretty much.
Yep. Leaves 2 in the ring for the finish, which is...
Oh my God. Do you just...
Sorry. Do you want to talk about this match that was not announced until a few days beforehand?
Not announced, and that was... Honestly...
I think Thursday.
This is the Andre the Giant Battle Royal match of AEW All In 2024. Yeah. This is like everyone gets a payday match, you know?
Everyone except MXM Collection.
It was a 20-man tag, and I think it happened because just a few days before, CMLL did their Wrestling Grand Prix, which is their annual 20-man tag. And Claudio Castagnoli went over to compete in it and won the whole thing. And it's like Tony Khan went, a 20-man tag, eh? I know what we're doing on Sunday. And lo and behold, a 20-man tag appears.
Yeah, there's a lot of twiddling of mustache in your voice there. Yes, Dante fires, clatters, not Sean Davari, the other one, in the ear. Twiddle leg splash, hook the leg, 4-3 in 11:30.
What was that splash with the little twiddly legs? So
he was selling in the middle of doing a move.
It's like those like clips when you get a puppy or a baby and you hold it over water and then the legs start going. That's literally what it was.
Steve, you know Yoshi?
Yes.
You play as Yoshi in a 2D Mario, and he has the extra hang air time. That's it.
That's exactly what it is.
He was getting extra air time.
Yeah. Can I give out about Dante and his brother and their new image? So their team name is Top Flight. And it's like we've gone back to 1992, or 1993 Raw, where gimmicks were heavily gimmicked. It's like, you've got the bin man, and
leave Duke Jersey out of this,
and the dentist, and it's like Top Flight are now pilots, and they come out wearing the slacks,
They come out with a little trolley.
Yeah, and they've got their shirts and
got their small packing peanuts.
It's just like, what are we doing here?
They arrive 40 minutes late.
What are we doing, mate? These are young lads who will get over by doing flippity doos. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need to check their baggage in before every flight, mate. It's fucking ridiculous.
Every corner, 4-poster.
Of the pre-show, we got a highlight here. Martha Hart, aka Owen's wife of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, name drops Canada. Can you guys go boo? Boo. America. Boo. And the Commonwealth. Lads, don't boo a widow.
The guy sat behind me, heard Martha talking, and he went, "Oh, that killed the fucking crowd, didn't it?"
Of course, Canada, we're very good friends and neighbors with the USA, but we're also very proud, very proud.
Match number 2 is the only pre-show match announced with more than 3 days out. It's Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris, Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. And the winner chooses the stip for Willow and Statlander's title match at All Out. Willow is the current CMLL Women's Champion, winning a 3-way back in July's Fantastica Mania USA. Oh, it's just take stock of this. Like, AEW wrestler wrestling and winning a CMLL belt and bringing it to an AEW show and defending it on the next. It's like modern wrestling is weird, man.
It's wild, isn't it?
Like back in the 90s, Ric Flair comes out with the Real World Championship. Oh my God. Oh yeah. And it's just another day in 2024,
Like, even WWE, who never played nice with anybody ever, are now featuring TNA talent. Okay, fair enough. It's on NXT, but still.
Mostly Joe Hendry.
But we are living in a wrestling world where everything is not an island. There are bridges being built, and it's so weird. As someone who's been watching wrestling for 30 plus years, stuff that I never thought would happen is actually happening.
And fair play to Tony Khan as well, who heard the problem of, there's too many belts in AEW, and went, I've got the solution. More belts! Have some more belts! Everyone has a belt! Have a lovely day!
Favourite spot of this match is Statlander giving Ishii forearms, like bam, 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 absolutely no sold it until the super forearm, which staggers him. He's whipped into a Batista spine buster by Stokely Hathaway, who sells it like a monster. And it doesn't work out.
No, he just goes beep.
He's so great. Stokely Hathaway, he's always doing funny shit. Like, he's tweeting out, Bryan Danielson's been real quiet since I stepped back into the ring.
And then he's fantastic.
He'll post a follow-up with a printout of him getting fined $300,000 for that tweet. So good.
Did you like his gear, Jay? His Wacko Jacko. Do you remember when I wrestled Ishii?
I didn't know how you're going to hit that sentence there.
I honestly didn't know.
Okay. Alpha male pounce and Ishii with a clothesline forearm smash. 1, 2, 3 to Stokely Hathaway. And in 8 minutes, Willow gets to pick the all-out stip, which is a Chicago street fight, which is a regular street fight with a deep dish pizza.
Which some people would claim is not a pizza, but I think they're fucking delicious.
Ooh, they are. They're a full meal.
They are.
Do you know what I mean? If you ever get a slice of deep dish, it's heavy, man. You're drinking the pizza. It changes state. Do you know what I mean?
There's eating and drinking in it.
To the midsection, doubles over Nightingale, and now Statlander.
I don't know how to describe that. Go ahead, extend.
10 8-man tag, Dustin Rhodes, the Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross, Sammy Guevara and Katsuyori Shibata versus the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and Brian Cage's Cage of Agony, Bishop Khan, Brian Cage, and Toa Leona. Toa being one of the few Samoans in wrestling not in the bloodline.
Yeah, yet.
Are you going to adopt him?
Literally.
He's too old.
Anyone who is from Samoa or Tonga will eventually be brought into that, 17-year-long storyline, which will never end.
Just mentioning Dustin Rhodes, blocked. The end of it. But Tom, you're telling me about Jimmy Bennett.
Jimmy Bennett,
if you text him, hey, I love Fatal Deviation, he'll just block you.
Oh.
And it's just, here's a gif of, what the fuck is this? Done.
Oh, yeah, we've got to talk about that because we met these lovely lads in the hotel that we were staying in. Cultaholic was staying in this hotel, and there were some wonderful Irish lads who completely stole the show. We were sat down in the bar area till about 3 a.m. as they recanted not just Fatal Deviation, but your review of Fatal Deviation.
Oh, shit.
They got black-rained, as they said.
What the fuck is this?
Oh, man. Actually, at the event, I got to meet Jake from SE Scoops as well, and he was just saying Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, yeah. He was at the convention, he's just walking by and Goldust is there, and he just goes... And he puts out his hand and he wants money. And it's like, you already did the thing. And now he's demanding payment. Sure.
That's brilliant.
Anyway, listen, move on. Sammy and Brian both in Wolverine get-ups.
Lads, do wrestlers not talk about this? Do they not say, oh man, I got this awesome gear for All In. It's blue and yellow Wolverine. I also got Wolverine colors. And it was, oh shit.
I feel like this is where AEW falls down. You would never have in a WWE match 2 blokes turning up for the same match dressed as the same Marvel character. There would be conversations beforehand. There would be planning meetings that take place. And I feel like AEW doesn't really have that shit together as much as WWE does.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's a bit in Family Guy where Lois is getting ready for a birthday party and she's in like a pink dress and a heart necklace. And then it's like, Peter, are you almost ready? Peter comes in and they're in the same outfit. And it's like, well, one of us is going to change. And he's like, unzip me.
Well, one of us is going to have to change. Unzip me.
Spot of the match was Kevin Von Erich. He gets in and does the claw, and Taven goes Magna himself, putting both of his hands on Kevin's hands to
Ultra
steady him.
Magna.
Yes, and we get a 5-way claw, and that's the match.
That was it, man. I just want to say those Von Erich genes are very strong because those 2 lads came out. They are fucking jacked beyond belief. It was like, there's only one family that you can be from, mate. They looked amazing.
Ross and Marshall, the Von Erichs.
I have to apologize to you both because obviously I've not contributed much for the pre-show, but that's because I spent most of the pre-show getting some drinks and trying to get on telly. Yes. As we arrived in the venue, somebody pointed up at the screen and went, "Your mate's on." And there was Jeff Jarrett on the pre-show, and I went a bit feral. I went, where is that? Where's that? Where's that? And what happened is I was stood by the barricade, and every time there was a match on, the security guard told us to move back to our seats, but my seat was really far away.
Ah, shit.
So what I started doing was looking for empty seats near the front, and I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to pretend this is my seat.
Yeah, there was like 35,000 empty seats.
I sat behind the top. I win. And then every time the match finished, I just ran back, stood there. I eventually got on and my life was made because I feel like I ruined television very briefly. Happy days. And that's all that matters. I was on telly.
Yeah, as you can see right here.
These guys have been with us all night. Everybody's been so loud. How are things going to go?
There we go, baby. Well, you didn't miss much. You missed 2 messy tag matches of people doing scramble moves that didn't need to be on the TV box at all. Can we have a 1 hour pre-show with one match, please, in the future, lads?
Actually, this did help me out having an extra hour because I spent it scouring and scoping out what free food I could get.
Ooh, is it time for the Piri update, Jay?
It is. I like that you preempted that. No Piri chicken this year, but they had barbecue chicken and a rose con pinto beans.
Okay.
I don't know what type, kidney beans or whatever. Yeah, delicious. Very nice. Not as nice as Piri, but what is? Yeah. But they Wembley excelled at the dessert, which was like slices of chocolate cake.
Okay.
And they were amazing.
Nice.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Up there.
I only travelled fucking and, got 5 days in London and I got a free slice of cake. Terrible exchange.
Did the Cultaholic lads behave themselves in the press box? Because I didn't really hear much from them until after the show.
Very nice. It was Emma, wasn't it?
It was Emma, who's a big fan of OSW Review, and she'll love the fact that I'm mentioning that on OSW Review once again. So big shout to Emma.
I'm going to cut her out.
No, so we had Emma, we had Sam, and Aidan Gibbons from Cultaholic.com. He's our tribal editor-in-chief. Sam Driver was in there as well. You would have seen Sam Driver on Wembley Way wearing a stand-up for WWE t-shirt and baseball cap.
Oh, I saw that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. It was a punishment for a challenge video that you can watch on the channel right now, and I love how it got people. We had loads of people going, look at these clowns buying tickets to this and supporting the Fed. It was so good. But shout out to Emma. Emma stopped us getting mugged. On the night before. So we were on a very late metro. We're about 3 stops from where we need to be. And suddenly Emma, traveling with us 4 dickheads, Emma just stands up and goes, okay, lads, this is our stop. Come on, we're going now. I was like, hey, it's not us. Come on, we're going. And she ushers us off. She says, we were about to get mugged.
Oh, shit.
I said, what do you mean? He said, I was watching these 3 lads who were watching us and our equipment and our bags. And as the metro pulled in, 2 of them took out balaclavas. And none of you dickheads noticed.
Fucking
God.
There is a complacency that women can just not have.
That's exactly what my good lady said.
Like,
this is the most practical male privilege I've heard.
Yeah. I have no issue going out at 2 a.m. walking the dog in an empty field with fucking headphones in. You know what I mean? And
well done, Emma.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
amazing.
Big love to Emma.
There's no money in it for you, but well done.
she got a Virgil dollar in Emma Healy.
There we go.
For the whole weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, Last year at All In, I won the AEW Women's World Championship, and this year I'm not even on the show!
And to close 0 hour, Paige Here, aka Saraya, comes out and, as Maff would say, is bleeding rage me. How could you leave me off the show? Probably because Tony Khan watched that match between you and Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Oh my God. The rehearsed, they do the quick counter spot, which was neither quick nor rehearsed.
The old kind of 80s British wrestling spots.
The Russ Abbott special, as it's called.
It was super rough.
It was terrible.
Because, like, Tony Storm, actually, at the end of it, she slaps her thighs. This is the next part of the fucking sequence. I'm like, oh my God. And here, you can watch it with Bailey and Becky done right.
A little world of sport action here by Becky Lynch.
The rapid movements of Becky Lynch.
Very unique British wrestling style.
Oh, Becky Lynch now for an early victory and a kick out by Bailey.
Her title run might have been calamitous, but Saraya, always good for a laugh on Dynamite. Harley's like, do the rampage. And she was like, it's not been called a rampage for 2 years, Harley. It's the good night. And to close off, Hampshire's own Jamie Hayter returns to confront Saraya. Her music, look and outfit, she looks completely different.
She looks like Becky Lynch coming out.
Yeah. It's like you'd have to tell me who she is for me to recognize her.
Yeah.
Wow. Chameleon.
But the crowd knew, and the pop was fantastic. And it was we kind of had a feeling what was coming when Saraya was going, I'm the queen of British wrestling. I'm the best British wrestler. Who's Jamie Hayter anyway? She didn't say that. She may as well have done. And then as soon as that music hit, I was like, yeah, that's a good shout. I thought she looked great. Big fan of Jamie Hayter. She's been gone for, feels like years she's been gone.
Yeah. It's been, what, like 15 months or something like that. And she looks phenomenal. She looks like she is ready to go. And I can't wait to see her get back in the ring and start working with not Saraya.
Harley Cameron shouting instructions from the outside. Are they arguing?
You gotta be kidding me right now.
AEW presents All In.
Pay-per-view start with the same theme as last year, using Machine Head's Bush, aka the non-knockoff No Way Out 2001 theme. Stephen, Machine Head's Bush? No Way Out 2001? Breathe out, breathe in. It's a trios, a 4-way London ladder match. Trios, 4-way, 3x4, 12 men. The Patriarchy, Christian, Luchasaurus, aka Killswitch, and Buddy Wayne's kid Nick versus the BBG. What's purple?
With the BBBG.
Yes, with the BGs.
They're facing the BGs.
The Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and the sons of Billy Gunn, Austin and Colton Gunn, versus Malachi's House of Black, versus Pac, the BCC, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta.
Oh my god, there's so many fucking letters. Just call people names, lads. What are we doing?
Yes. What makes it a ladder match? There's ladders. What makes it a London ladder match?
Ladders in London.
Yeah, it's top. Mad for it, isn't it? 12-man ladder clusterfuck. 19 minutes. A madhouse. Let's do it to it.
The Patriarchy, the champions. Oh wait, Christian Cage
doing the smart erudite thing from the get-go.
Ding, ding, ding. Match starts and Christian pegs at the safety. Jay taps the temple. Very smart.
I love it. He's so great.
Nigel McGuinness touts Cage's cleverness. I wonder if he'll regret being so kind. A mere 100 seconds into the bout, Buddy tries to grab the belts. I died. I wish he got them. And then everyone started booing. Christian sees the ring is clear, so pelts it back to retrieve the belts. No joy, and gets wailed on for his deviousness. As Christian goes up the ladder, we get a down with this sort of thing sign.
Yes. Careful now.
Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
Least it. Christian! Tossed to the floor as the Christian Cage trying to make a run for it.
Malachi Black grabs a ladder, but a really small one, like a WLC ladder. So he gets tagged by Killswitch. The former Luchasaurus could win right now, but Christian selfishly demands he get the belts, which foils the team. House of Black with their sole spot of the match, a 3-head of Surberus in the corner. Claudio takes charge and readies Juice Robinson for a giant swing. Watch Yuta. He moves the ladder out of the way for his teammate and saves Juice's head, smacking off it.
Good job, mate.
4 men on the ladders and guns away. I don't know. Nick Wayne hits an RKO, which he calls Wayne's World.
Which is a great name, by the way.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Part of time.
Excellent.
Got a bit new gen at the end there. Oh man, if he's doing the Wayne's World thing, he could be decked out in the Reebok gear and start giving out about sponsorships.
Okay.
Like, actually, AEW, no sponsorships on the mat or around the ring. This is a clean viewing experience. Oh my God, thank you so much.
I'm so glad that they didn't have their television barrier walls, because of all the things to take from WWE, fucking bright lights and screens and stuff like that.
Around the ring, yeah.
It's too much.
And they usually put gambling ads on it as well.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The juice is loose. Robinson tries to kick away a ladder and almost falls over. Will that make Botchamania? Let's see. Yes, it does. Time for the finish. Christian dumps Juice out, chucks a chair at Pac, follows up with a kill switch, pepper spray to Yuta, spear from the ladder to Buddy. By the way, biggest pop of the match was Juice thwarting Mother Wayne with her pepper spray and then motions to powerbomb her from the apron through a table.
What a monster. What a monster.
Oh, well, no! Oh, get some to the table! Get some elbow in now! Oh, wait! Kill switch! Oh, just through the table!
Mad wrestling fans, we're fucking bloodthirsty animals, aren't we?
I think it's Rhino with Francine. He actually did that.
Yes.
Like, pile driver through a table, I think.
Yep.
Splicey. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, no! Oh! Oh, no, no! No! What?
The ring is clear. This is Christian's to lose, but his selfishness is his undoing as it gives Pac time to scale the ladder, kick off Cage into Lucha, and nab the titles for the Packpool Combat Club. The Geordie gets a home country win in 19 minutes.
The kill switch is back in a take-up!
I thought this match was really good and it was loads of fun, but I was already knackered from having seen 2 4 billion tag team tag team matches like in a row, basically. You know, it's like, okay, look, everyone here was a super worker and they all went out there and they worked really hard. They did a billion spots. There was something happening every 3 seconds. Unfortunately, there was so much stuff that happened that I don't remember anything other than Mama Wayne. That spot was awesome. It was a hot opener, but I just thought that the match order was a bit shit.
Yeah, I definitely felt like it did hurt it, just coming after the 30 people we just saw on the pre-show. Exactly. What do you think, Tom?
It served to give Pac his moment at WrestleMania. Oh, crumbs! It served to give Pac his big Wembley moment, which was long overdue. And it was one that he nearly lost because I believe reports were this was meant to be Death Triangle in this match, but Penta and Phoenix are Fed bound. So they're gone. So we found a way to shoehorn him in to create what I believe should be called, if it's not already, the Bastard Combat Club.
Hey.
Okay, that's not bad.
And I think that lends itself nicely. But yeah, I completely agree with what Steve said. They've just thrown so much so early that to the fans watching, there was just a lot going on. I do want to applaud the way that they set this up production-wise for people watching at home. Because on the kickoff show, on the 0 hour, you had all the entrances. So when the show went live around the world, it was everybody in the ring, and it was Justin Roberts just going, "It's a ladder match! Good luck, everybody! Let's go!"
The CMLL International Wrestling Grand Prix.
Just a car crash involving lots of lovely workers. One of which was Claudio, bless him, who had done Dynamite in Cardiff, had a banger against Okada. He then flew via private jet to CMLL, where he was in a 20-man Grand Prix CMLL tag match, won that, came back to Wembley with his trophy, and got right in the mix with it again. Jesus Christ. I refuse to complain about my workload, knowing that weekend Claudio did all of that. What a guy.
I have no doubt that in order to survive that amount of travel, Tony Khan just said, "Hey, I'm going to give you access to my stash." You'll be fucking flying in more ways than one, Claudia.
He'll go over the Swiss Alps.
And tonight, Newcastle has their Wembley moment.
Match number 5 is for the AEW Women's Championship. It's Mariah May versus Timeless Toni Storm, the champion. Build up to this? Is this contender for like the best built feud on the card?
To the point where our whole section went, why is this on now?
Yeah.
Like, this should be so much further up the card. But I think as we will carry on through the show, you'll realise, actually, being at this particular point probably saved it because it made it more memorable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think you're absolutely spot on. You were asking about the build. Is this the best build match on this show? And I think I'd argue it's the second greatest build in AEW history.
Oh my God.
After Kenny versus Hanger, which is one of my favorite builds in wrestling in the last 20 years. in terms of taking in someone who was not known by anyone except for the hardest of the, like, if you're into Joshi wrestling, you are the hardest of the hardcore. To have your average fan have this unknown lady, and then in the space of a year, you have not only gotten her over, but you've gotten her ready to have a title match and to become champion. And I think it was a booking masterclass. Tony Khan, who gets a lot of shit, sometimes it's okay to say he knocks it out of the park with certain things, and he did here.
Okay.
Mariah May doing her tribute act to another era of timeless Toni Storm.
It wasn't that long ago. It looked as if Toni Storm was not giving Mariah May the time of day.
Mariah started as one of Tony's adoring fans, meek and supportive, but over time the starlet started taking a shine to Mariah. I see myself in you, and I love me. And as May grew in confidence and success, winning the Owen Hart tournament, she chose to leave the black and white spotlight and strike out, bloodying Toni with her shoe, chastising Storm for losing at last year's event. From then on, it's attacks and pull-aparts, but it's not all serious. Her feud with Toni was replete with lesbian pollen.
Yes, it was. The lovely Mina Shirakawa for Forbidden Door 2024 that culminated in the dreams of wrestling fans around the world with a 3-way kiss. Keyboards ruined.
Everyone's Spider-Manning all over the room.
Yeah.
I like the arm drags, to be honest. I thought the arm drags were very, very good.
They've been kissing so much that AEW was asking, do you mind if you don't? And on Wrestling with Freddie, Mariah was saying, it wasn't pitched, we just did it. Mina and I are very close. We've always been very close in Stardom. We just did it. The next time around, they were like, can you stop kissing? You know, the contention being that lesbian pollen is a trope of the Divas kind of piss break era of women's wrestling, i.e. the opposite of progressive and, you know, rating them on their talent, you know.
I'd challenge Adam Pacitti to tell me and Maffew to stop kissing.
But she contends it's their choice to do it. If I don't want to do something, I won't. And that's like the next stage of progressive, where you can use it if you want. Tony's final gift to Mariah will be the grandest Toni Storm, the strongest chin, the toughest tits, the stiffest shoe you'll ever see. So with all that out of the way, let's make cinema.
Let's give them a shot.
This is the first show I've attended where Toni Storm is in her timeless gimmick. I don't want to break kayfabe, but like the world didn't turn black and white.
Oh no!
It was just televisual trickery.
Boo!
But she was dressed in black and white, or licorice, all sorts.
Yes.
Or Newcastle. Specifically the David Ginola 96.
Whoa. The David Ginola.
Hockey fight to kick off, and both try to immediately hit their finishers.
Now on to the hockey fight.
So after the opening, Mariah May puts the boots to Toni Storm and gets a long heat segment. Slow, I would say boring, 6 or 7 minutes. We get lots of chops around the ring. Mariah May hits a sunset flip powerbomb to the outside, which was very nice. And then walks over and slaps her fucking ma.
What a heel.
Mariah just slapped her own mother. My gosh, what the hell is wrong with her?
The heat. Excuse me, Miss May.
And then Toni retorts with a pile driver on the stairs,
which was fantastic.
And it was like, it got, heat for about 3 seconds and everyone, okay, next spot. It was like, in the 90s, this stopped wrestling. Like when Shawn did it to Undertaker, it was a sick thud and everyone was like, and that was it for a while.
Oh no, Steel skull! The Undertaker's skull! You can hear his skull crack!
It really does go to show you how much wrestling has changed over the years, that like 20, 30 years ago, that move would have been an angle.
Yes.
And now it's a transitional spot, which is insane. But
I don't like it.
Yeah, but then after that, Toni goes over to Mariah May's ma and she gives her a hug and she gets a pop for it. And then the camera pans back and we see that Mariah May has gotten the red, brother.
Like a horror movie villain rising up with blood on her face. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Then finally, the match goes from like first gear up to fifth gear just immediately when Toni Storm fires up. She makes her comeback.
I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry! Bitch.
Do you mind if I say those moves?
Sure.
Trade big moves. Sky High by Toni. Missile dropkick by May. Storm Zero by Toni. First near fall that the crowd bite on is when Toni hulks up and counters with a lariato into a flying bum tackle. And Storm Zero, but only gets a 2. Flip the bird. Twist the bird. Rochambeau.
Double kick to the fanny. Massive pop.
A double headbutt. Mayday! And only gets a 2.
Mariah goes to grab the belt, but then Luther takes it from her, gives her the finger. Crowd pop. Then she brings the blood-covered shoe into the ring. This is the famous shoe that kicked off the heel turn with that incredibly hot angle. But Toni cannot bring herself to use it. She hesitates, which then gives Mariah the chance to roll her up for an electric 2 count. Everyone thought that was the end of the match. Then Mariah gets up, hits 2 running knees, a Storm Zero, gets the win to become the new AEW Women's World Champion after a almost year-long build.
She kissed her on the forehead. Storm! The victory! No!
1, 2! 50 minutes 15. I love she used Toni's finisher on her to win the match. So very, very decisive. Yeah, amazing. Great fitting storyline match to cap off a great feud. Putting over the noob who could really use it. And it was just like, I hope that... And, you know, Toni afterwards, she's kind of going insane with it. She doesn't know where she is anymore.
She is going to go mental in the coming weeks, and it's going to be fabulous television.
Well, didn't they say, during the press conference, didn't they say that Toni was last seen leaving the stadium and wandering off into the smoky night of London? Like, we don't know where she is anymore.
Well, it's like 6 p.m, so it's, it's still Friday. Yes, here's the footage of it.
I am all for this.
Sorry, Tom, what do you think, mate?
One of my favourite matches of the night in terms of storyline, not so much in ring, but certainly for story. Toni refusing to use the shoe. Tony Khan's the only guy writing AEW, and you get these sort of different elements that repeat a lot. So, like, Toni refusing to use the shoe isn't unlike Will Ospreay refusing to use the Tiger Driver. So you get a lot of storyline crossover, but I thought this was just marvellous, and I'm ready for them to do it again. I don't want to do it again straight away. I want to see what Mariah May does as Women's World Champion. We're here, and I think she's going to be wonderful in that role. There's a few people going, oh, that's it now. She'll come back as like the old school Toni Storm. I think we've barely begun. I think that's the end of Act 1 or the end of Act 2. And I think we've still got more to go. I think it's one of the best characters in wrestling. I don't want to see it go just yet.
Oh yeah, maybe she could be like a cowboy and like just start hawking Laramie cigarettes.
Totally, yeah. This is what, like, 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
She's got decades of character changes that she can go through before she gets back up to, like modern times.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
But the huge thing coming out was like Toni, she had a puppet of her made of her, and it's a wonderful working puppet, like a Tiny Toni or so, by Puppet Workshop in the UK. Amazing. Here's footage of it.
We got to reveal the most recent project as AEW superstar. Toni Storm got to meet her very own Toni puppet.
You see, I'm not the uncrowned champion because I am the world heavyweight champion, and this is the proof. You could call it the Brooklyn World Belt. You could call it the World Belt. You could call it anything you want.
Match number 6 for the win. What else does FTW stand for?
Well, currently Jericho calls it the For the World Championship.
Yes, the Chris Jericho, the champion, with Big Bill and Brian Keith versus Taz Kid Hook. Big Bill got the biggest pop of his singles career in Cardiff. AEW decided to do, their weekly shows in the British Isles in Britland this week before AEW All In.
Britland!
It was cool because he seemed flummoxed by the reception, and then he said, all right, I'm just going to start doing moves, and he does a bear hug and it gets a pop.
Great stuff.
People are going crazy here for the Redwood. Looks like Cardiff on a Friday night at the pub.
I love that they just latched onto it, and everything he did, they cheered, even when he was clearly trying to get them to hate him. They're like, yay, we still love you anyway, Bill. And the Wembley crowd understood the assignment when it came to Big Bill, because that continued. Don't know whether you guys noticed it. I know, Jay, whether you noticed it in the crowd. So you missed this when you watch it on telly. But as that Toni Storm Mariah May match was taking place, they started setting up the Fozzy drums and the guitars. And the guys in our section went, oh, fucking hell, Jericho's next. Say what you will about how successful Chris Jericho's current gimmick is. As soon as that match finished, the queue for the toilet was fucking ridiculous.
That's so funny.
Yeah, here's a picture of the men's toilets during Fozzy. One thing is that Fozzy playing again is like, they only announced this after you bought your tickets. Do you know?
That was a gotcha.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And like, I've paid for Fozzy again. Do you know?
Congratulations to Fozzy on selling out Wembley twice.
Yeah.
What a tour it's been so far for them. The O2 in London, Leicester service station, Wembley Stadium. It's been a hell of a run.
Yeah, it sounded like Jericho was on some podcast or something and he was talking about like, there's not many acts in music who get to say that they played Wembley twice, and Fozzy are one of them.
To say we've played Wembley Stadium twice.
And I'm just watching it going, the fucking neck of you, Christopher Jericho. The cheek of you to claim that you've played Wembley twice. Unbelievable.
You got away with it last year. And of course, Judas is a banger of a song, you know? But it went well. But why'd you go back to the well? This time with Spotlight. Well, like, it's not bad in itself, but do you know what I love about musical live performances? Is that you get immediate feedback from the crowd. Is this any good or not?
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen Alter Bridge play, and when they play Metalingus, everyone, you know, jostles around, starts jumping around and headbanging, you know. And when they put a song no one knows about, everyone just is polite.
Yeah.
And like in this one, it's the most polite crowd. This could be a Tokyo Dome crowd. Everyone's like, not even taking pictures, just
Tokyo
standing.
Dome COVID crowd.
So yeah, I don't want to say Chris Jericho, you deserve this. But Mongoose McQueen of Fozzy, you deserve this. Then Hook has his entrance as well.
They teased us something rotten. They started playing Taz's Fed theme.
Oh, it was amazing.
They with the doot. And I was like, oh, they're gonna do
where's tires?
And they, oh no, it's just Hook's GTA loading screen theme instead. I was like, that's a shame.
What's Hook's theme? How does that go?
It's my name is Hook.
You know, it's no Taz song.
It is certainly no Taz song.
Oh, at the scrum afterwards, Hook, who says nothing, I was like, I can't cut a promo, so I'm just going to mug and give one more answers and pretend I'm stoic.
He made Orange Cassidy last year look brilliant.
Yeah, so he just says, oh, I thought it'd be cool, and so I asked Toni, and here we go. Here's my legally distinct heartbeat.
Okay.
There we go, and that's all I have to say about Hook. Whack-a-whoop-big Bill! 3-on-1 against Hook to kick off to tell you who's babyface and who's heel. Since Hook is Taz's son, he does a lot of his offense, namely suplexes, like a lovely overhead suplex and a T-bone. Just a bit weird as he's not beefy at all. He looks like a boxer, you know? So
look like a boxer!
Is this one of the wrestlers?
It looks like a boxer!
Like his power moves, they look weird coming from someone so small, do you know? Jericho jangles and releases his big sack of balls, cricket balls, and Hook joins in with a big cricket bat. And I was like, this is the most dangerous spot of the night. You know, wanging balls at him.
Yeah, so like, you know, if you're English, you 100% know that cricket balls are really fucking sore. I've played cricket once or twice, you know, like the balls hurt like a motherfucker. So like Hook is in the ring just sculling these things at Jericho, and I've no doubt that really hurt.
And Jericho takes a back bump onto them as well. It's like, you can't work that, do you know? Ending in a yam bag T-bone suplex by Hook.
Yeah, Big City! Suplex with the cricket bat!
Walls of Jericho to Hook. Walls of Hook to Jericho. And Big Bill breaks it up. We're really in fast forward in this match. Heels set up barbed wire board on the outside. Someone's taking a nasty bump. Will it be Hook? Or Jericho? Or Keith? No, it's Big Bill. Wacka wa Keith, smack with Martha Hart do that. Taz can't sit for this adjustance, pulls off Keith and applies the Taz mission.
He pulls off Keith.
He surely does. At the front of the line, Hook makes Jericho tap inside the ring. Lovely family moment. Father and son embrace, which means Hook is now a 3-time champion, which means fuck all to everyone.
Good for him having a belt on a show which contains all belts.
I'm happy if he's happy.
Big pop for Taz though in the stadium. They love that. I love that too, to be fair.
Huge pop. I like obviously Taz getting off of his chair and putting the Taz mission on Brian Keith was the absolute highlight of this match. It was the right time to do it, and unfortunately, in my opinion, it kind of took away from Hook because everyone was like, yay Taz, yay Hook, you know? Yeah. I think Jericho gets too much flack online, but I also don't want to see him for 20 minutes every week, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be very happy if he took a couple of steps back, you know? This build did nothing for me, the match didn't do much for me. Probably should have opened up the show.
Steve, can you explain the learning tree gimmick?
It's like a mixture of Mr. Rogers, some kind of kids TV show, and Eugene.
Oh my God.
It's like...
What?
It's like if Mr. Rogers...
If he hears this, he will stop doing the gimmick immediately.
Had a learning disability. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of any other way to put it. I think it worked for the first few weeks when it was in a couple of short backstage segments. Then as soon as they started making the tree prop and him coming out and cutting 15-minute promos, died a death. Jericho, like, you are an all-time great. You absolutely are. You're fucking brilliant. You're a wrestling genius. But like, go on tour with Fozzy. Please. Give us a break, yeah?
So I'm making a promise. I'm never going to miss another Dynamite again.
Tom, is that fair?
I mean, about him going on tour forever, yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, in terms of what the learning tree is, I kind of thought it was more like just a pig-ignorant veteran teaching his ways to the young lads of the industry, unaware of just how out of touch he is. But, I mean, we can go with Mr. Rogers meets Eugene if you like.
Maybe you should change your name to Public Party, guys. They play hockey here, and I've been playing hockey since I was 5 years old. I'm really good.
Match number 7, a tag match for the tag titles. It's a tag champions, the Bucks versus FDR versus the Acclaimed. So that's Maffew and Nicholas Jackson versus Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus Anthony Bones and Platinum Max Caster, who now has a Fimbley mustache.
He now has a Fimbley mustache, but has also got himself into incredible shape. It's the best shape he's ever been in, and he looks great.
The feuds, both Acclaimed and FTR feel they should be next in line to face the Bucks for their tag titles. Acclaimed beating them in an eliminator match, and FTR because reasons. The contenders feud and neither come out on top, so both will face the Bucks at Wembley. What do you think of the Bucks heel run? Evil EVPs.
I mean, they're very fun to watch, but I don't think it's been particularly great television. They're not featured in storylines or angles. It's like, we're heels and we'll wrestle every 2 months. Our match will be great, but, you know, if you want some kind of storytelling, why don't you go and watch Jericho's 20-minute segment? You know?
As long as it's going somewhere, because this was the downfall of things like the NWO or the main event Mafia, whereby there was no real end game to it. I don't bite on it. As you say, they're just the bad guys that wrestle every couple of months and just come out and go, hey, we're bad guys.
In general, I think it's the right thing having them as heel and bossy boots, because being involved and being not blameless, doing shit in the whole quagmire of Punk, I really don't feel like cheering them. So I'm happy that they're heel.
It's interesting that you say that about the quagmire of Punk, Jay, because this is a faction that is born out of the fallout of All Out from several years ago.
That's
It was really good, yeah.
All Out.
It's the brawl out from the fallout of All Out, and and the fact that it's still in the memory of this story, and the guy who was the impetus for it all, he's in WWE doing something completely different. It's like a couple splitting up and one goes off and meets the love of their life, and the other's still in the pub going, well, they were a bastard anyway. Do you remember that time when they treated me like shit? Like, it's that. Remember that time that Punk was here and he was a dickhead? And we're great, we are. It's still living off that, and you need to cut that off.
Yes.
They put out more hits than the Beatles. They are AEW EVPs.
Entrances. The Bucks come out in their Sgt. Pepper attire with the John Lennon glasses. The Young Bucks, they need to change their name. Like, if this goes on any longer, like it's starting to feel ironic calling them young, because they're like 39 and 35.
Yeah.
And they're quite haggard.
And the guy who's 35 looks like he's 45.
Because they've been in the sun a lot of it.
Yeah.
Gee, lads. It's like, I suppose Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were never the middle-aged outlaws. FTR looking like the inside of an Atari.
I think FTR are probably the best tag team in the world. I think they're phenomenal, especially Dax. I think Dax is out of this world as a worker, but holy fuck, I'm so sick of them as rah-rah speech baby faces. They go on the B show every week, cut a rah-rah speech about how AEW is great, wrestling's great, we love wrestling, now we're going to wrestle these jobbers, but it's going to take us 32 minutes to beat them. They need to freshen up their act, like really badly. Can we turn heel or something, please?
I am happy that, like, I haven't heard anything about Dax since he left Twitter. Or since, you know, he stopped doing his podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy. So the last thing I heard about him is that he turned 40 and Bret Hart went to meet him and say, hey, how's it going? Happy birthday. And just Dax, he couldn't believe it. It took him like 10 seconds to compute what's going on. And then he's like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, Bret short-circuited his brain.
Or maybe,
as he would all of us.
Or maybe he was secretly disappointed that it wasn't Tatanka.
I don't know who you're talking about, and we'll move on. The Acclaimed, I had to watch it at home again, because after the first line in the crowd, FTR looked like they're in the EDL. Everyone went mental.
Yeah.
And
that was such a great line.
Platinum on the mic and I rock the house really well. FTR looking like members of the EDL. Your legacy is such a great print. Y'all got Bret Hart matches in the spank bank.
Tom, is this correct? I've been reliably informed that the EDL is a bunch of racist skinhead knackers?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Max and Dax to, is that right? Yeah, it is.
Max and Dax
to kick off. They sound like some kind of sillet bang combination. I love that Max slagged FTR over the Bret Hart attire, considering he's in pink and black.
This is the second time this has happened on this show where we've got two people who are on opposing sides wearing the same colours.
Weird. Literally Bret Hart attire with the skull and the fire pink trim. Lovely. By the way, they're a L'Atelier dark chocolate strawberry bar.
L'Atelier? I thought you said Nutella. I was like, I thought you pronounced it Nutella weirdly.
Ooh, look at this.
Nutella. Someone's doing all right. We call it a car hold over here.
Well, ooh la dee da, Mr. Frenchman.
Bucks have a lot of tag team spots, which I appreciate. Assisted sliced bread and follow up boot, gutbuster and neck breaker combo, and even sandwiched on top of each other for a scissor me leg drop. Later on, Nicholas is grabbed by Matt and they both take a German suplex before 2 singles. When Nick is taken out, Matt continues the tag team assault with an EVP trigger with Max before eating a mix and match shatter machine.
Is he an EVP now?
What's that? Time for the finish. Double whoa from the Bucks. Double pump up the sneakers. Lol. Super kicks all round. It's all going according to plan until Daddy Ass intervenes with a famouser. Cash takes out the Acclaimed with a tope suicida. Really conked heads, I think, there, lads. Belt shot to Dax. Isn't enough to take him out, but what can? An EVP trigger? Yes. 1, 2, 3, and the Bucks retain.
EVP trigger! EVP trigger! This has got to be it! 1, 2, 3!
Excellent. You've got 4 incredible workers. You've got 1 really good worker, and you've got Max Caster. I know! No, I'm actually being mean there. Max gets a lot.
He's the best wrestler alive.
Max gets a lot of flack, and he's way better than people think. Yeah, this match was really good. Like, I wasn't particularly invested in it from the build, but I knew that the match was going to be really good, and they all went out there, worked super hard, and delivered.
Tom, what do you think, mate?
Phenomenal match, without doubt. I kind of thought that the Acclaimed were going to do it. I felt in the build that maybe this should have been the night that the Young Bucks got the belts taken from them, but apparently not. We're carrying on. But I'm ready for new challengers. Hopefully, some new challengers arrive moments after the pinfall.
Yes. I don't know what that noise was, but rudely, Drake and Gibson don't allow the Bucks to enjoy the Wembley win and clear house. Ooh, scowl. I'm well odd, me. Hard as in tough, not. Do you like these lads, Drake and Gibson?
Oh, they're wonderful. I got to work with them. We had the Burning Heart Pro Wrestling Tour over the summer. This is a promotion put together by the GYV and Trent Seven and a few other people, and they're fabulous to work with and just brilliant. We saw them have a good run out in TNA. They did some great stuff with ABC. WWE just had gold in their hands and didn't have a Scooby-Doo what to do with it. And we'll make them spooky. They disappeared under spooky circumstances. So I'm glad that they voted with their feet and they're doing their own thing now. They've set up their own wrestling school in Orlando, and doing stuff with AEW I think was the missing piece of the puzzle, because I was going, why aren't they part-time in AEW? Because the tag division could genuinely benefit from having those guys around. And if it gives us GYV beating the Young Bucks for the tag titles down the road, my body is ready for it.
Excellent. Well recapped there as well.
Yep.
I just want to point out, okay, the gimmick of the Bucks might be quite tired at the moment, or like no one's like, whoa, Bucks, do you know? It's kind of expected that they'll have an amazing match or they're incredibly smooth. Like, there was a sequence of multiple attacks that ends in Nick Jackson does a push off moonsault out of the ring and knock all the bowling pins down, and it was flawless. Like, they were the focus of the bout. Even if there wasn't much heat on the bout, they didn't disappoint. But the funniest part of this match kind of coming out of it was Bowens does his arrival slam and mic drop by Max. There's a photo taken of it, and Max went on Twitter asking fans to Photoshop out Bowens, as it's an incredible shot otherwise.
I've seen it. It's very funny.
Yeah, and Bowens just has his arse in here. And can you Photoshop that? And so he asked Twitter, and so people just respond, and they Photoshop everything else out instead.
It's brilliant.
It's very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes Twitter is not a hell site, and it's actually great fun. People on Twitter, more of that, please.
Awesome. Match number 8 is the Casino Gauntlet match, aka Legally Distinct Royal Rumble, where up to 21 people can enter at timed intervals, winner via pinfall or submission at any time during the bout. Not everyone has to be entered for that to happen, Russo. This is a new match type. There's only been 2 in April and in May of 2024, both won by Will Ospreay. 12 entrants today, but who's in it is most of the fun. So, much like the Royal Rumble, the Casino Gauntlet is an excuse to get people on the card and throw in some fun surprises. So let's get to it! Orange Cassidy! Oh, he has a Mr. Bean intro!
It was so great.
Fantastic.
You can't hear the crowd flipping out because they go to the, whatever, Mr. Bean audio on the broadcast, but holy shit. Mr. Bean, Blackadder here, Rowan Atkinson, just incredible actor, going probably since the late 70s, I'm going to say. Mr. Bean worldwide appeal because he's basically mute.
Yeah.
And the situations are very ubiquitous, or like everyone can, like all I can think of is him getting naked and having to hold an exit sign above his arse. He gets locked out of a hotel room and that. Or like he passes by a window with his girlfriend and she sees a ring and she's like, oh man, ooh, I quite like that, you know? And so it's her birthday and he comes to her and opens up the ring box and she opens it and she turns the ring and it's the nail that the picture was from.
Fucking great.
He gets her the picture as well. Oh, it's fucking incredible.
The most iconic Mr. Bean thing that people are going to remember is when he was coming back from, I think, the hardware store and he didn't have enough room in his car to get all the stuff in. So he ends up sat on a chair that is roped to the roof of his Mini. He's using a mop and some string to steer the car while sat on top of it. It's a piece of incredible engineering that really defies the fact that Mr. Bean's an idiot, because he's put this system together in record time and he's a genius for it.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. Spicy. Orange Cassidy, oh, he's a bit sad. Because he's feeling shitty since best friends broke up, and he's lost a few matches like versus Roddy Strong and Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door. He's been hanging around the conglomeration with Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe and Ishii, but it's not really working. What is working is the single poot pyro.
It's brilliant, isn't it? If there was ever a pyro to encapsulate someone's character, it's this.
And like they do the stadium wide shot of it. So good. Number 2 is the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. The money that dropped from the ceiling, unfortunately, like it wasn't raining on the crowd, but here you can see it. I was like, oh, I would have loved one of those Virgil dollars he's thrown out.
They've spent a lot of money on Wembley, and especially with less seats this year, they're not giving any money away to the crowd. Tony Khan ran out afterwards. You don't see it on the telly, but Tony Khan ran out with a big broom, just took it all back in.
It's like Christmas when everyone's done opening their presents and the Maz there with the big black bag to get everyone's, the wrapping paper back in. That's Tony Khan with the dollars. Yeah, so Okada, who was the main attraction in New Japan for a couple of years, like he either main evented or sub-main evented Wrestle Kingdom for the past 5 years, including beating Bryan Danielson earlier in 2024. His contract finished in March and came to AEW. Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy for him. I think he's funny. It looks like he's having the time of his life, but as a fan who wanted the best wrestler in the world to come to AEW, to have the best...
You wanted Truth Floyd. You got
to have the best matches with the other best wrestlers in the world. I'm a bit disappointed.
Do you mean he hasn't been wrestling the wrestlers in AEW that you want him to wrestle?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been doing wrestling. And even when he has a match, it's like, I don't think I'll bump today. You know,
it's all character work.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Like he's very funny and he's very over, and I really like that stuff. But he had a match with Pac, and that was awesome. And I'd be like, I'd like to see more of that, please.
Absolutely. Oh, Pat is so emotional. He really is an emotional man. Yeah.
Okada gives a hug to Orange Cassidy. It's like, ah, and then he kind of looks at the camera. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. Amazing. Orange Cassidy tries to put his hand in his pocket.
On the books.
Out of sight.
And is successful and does his no hands offense, which is also great.
Yeah.
Boolabus. Much like the Royal Rumble. Entrant number 3. We put on this festival, you bastards, with a lot of love. We work for 1 year for you pigs. All right, that's the rest of fucking in the bush.
It's Saraya in the match. Get it.
2, 1.
It's Nigel McGuinness.
Yes!
Holy shit. Oh my God. This was my favorite moment of the entire night.
Absolutely.
I marked it out so I was like, I hope this is captured on pay-per-view because everyone lost their shit. And I was so happy that like people remembered him as well. Maybe it's just the hardest of hardcore watch AEW that have been watching Ring of Honor in the mid-2000s, you know?
Yeah.
Like we would have seen Nigel wrestle.
We saw him wrestle in Tala.
Yes.
For Irish Whip Wrestling like 15 years ago in front of what couldn't have been more than 100 people.
I remember, like, because he played a twat, and we were like, "Oh, I hate you," and it's just like, "Wow, you are so good."
Yeah,
he just cut through us. You know, he got that over within the space of a couple of minutes of his match. Fantastic, and sure, of course, he'd had the legendary feud in Ring of Honor with Bryan Danielson.
Legendary.
Oh my God! And I was like, okay, they're on a tour, and it was like, you know, he wrestles so hard and so strong. Oh, I'll just blow out my tricep, and it was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just work on the other arm, and then he ends up blowing out his other tricep. And I was like, fuck. And then Bryan Danielson and Nigel, they both get signed to WWE. They both have their medicals. Bryan passes it. Nigel fails his medical. And I was like, but I can get this rescanned and stuff like that. And a couple of weeks later, when he's gotten his clean bill of health, they've moved on. You know? And he never gets a run in WWE. But he goes to TNA in November 2009.
Dixie Googles, what's the most common British name? It's Desmond Wolfe. He did have a legendary match with Kurt Angle, though. It was phenomenal.
And it's like, okay, you're getting over because you're an amazing talent. And it's like, well, we can't be having that. We got to push Tommy Dreamer and all the money we spent on Ken Anderson and RVD.
Wes Briscoe over here.
Where's Garrett Bischoff? Because do you remember Bischoff had the weekly rankings?
Yeah.
And then fans can vote who they thought was best that week.
And he won every week. And then they just put the fucking brakes on it because Bischoff didn't get him.
Yeah. Didn't want to push Nigel.
You can't trust people to vote like that. He was the Boaty McBoatface of TNA. Like, don't trust him. I mean, it was because of him that the whole system shut down. They went, stop it. You don't get to choose what you want. You've ruined it for everybody.
Do you have any history, any when did you first watch Nigel wrestle?
I was going to say, because I've just jumped on Cage Match, in Tala, I think he fought Vic Viper.
Oh, with the umbrella. That guy, is
yes, Vic Viper, okay.
My first incident of Nigel is the match with Bryan Danielson. You talked about their feud in Ring of Honor and that belter they had in Liverpool. Just ripped shreds off one another. And the finish, which was Bryan Danielson just elbowing Nigel McGuinness in the head for what felt like 4 days to knock him out to win all the ROH titles, essentially. Nigel's brilliant. I think the issue is he's so good as a commentator that it's almost, to a whole generation, it's forgotten that he's also a wrestler. I think Mariah May is to blame for all this because Nigel McGuinness has been fawning over Mariah May for so long, and it was just about an hour before this match that Mariah May gave him a little kiss on the forehead, and I think that was what inspired him to put the gear on and enter this match for the love of Mariah May. Good on him.
They didn't show it on pay-per-view, but there's bits where whenever Mariah May would have a near fall, Nigel would jump out of his seat. He'd go, oh my God, what is happening? You know, and have to collect himself.
He's so great.
Yeah, I would have been quite sad about Nigel because, I don't think he got the run. Obviously in TNA, didn't last very long either. And he didn't get the run in the WWE or TNA that he deserved or someone of his stature and talent deserves. And he's an accomplished, video editor as well. So he made his own documentary, The Last of McGuinness. And they eventually, WWE ripped it off and made their own documentary about Nigel. And he was just saying it's quite sad that he didn't get to showcase his talent. But wrestlers would all be huge wrestling geeks and they'd study loads of tapes, and so loads of wrestlers would have watched Nigel's tapes, and a lot of their movesets or how they wrestle is thanks to Nigel. So that's how he lived on.
There are generations of wrestling fans who think that Danielson is the greatest wrestler who's ever lived, and I don't disagree with that. I think you can absolutely say that. But when I was watching Ring of Honor back in the day, Nigel was my favorite because I love that British wrestling style that's, holds and counters and moving around and manipulating body parts. And I just think he did that so well. And I just thought he was a phenomenal wrestler. And I'm glad that he's back and he gets to show this off to an entirely new generation of fans.
And he's a magician.
Yes, he is.
What's in your hand?
Yeah, thunderous reception in the stadium. So happy for him, man. He does his corner posting spot, and Okada generously, he leaves himself open to get hit. It was great.
Now Nigel goes over, brings Okada down on a kick to the back, and he chopped him down.
Number 4 is Jimmy Bennett. Shoots on Nigel and is denied. Kyle O'Reilly. McGuinness tries a fulcrum lariato, but everyone watches his old tapes, so Riley blocks him. Number 5, Zack Sabre Jr. Oh wow, another hometown boy. He's from Kent. Tom, is that posh? Sheerness, North Kent?
Kent can be posh, yeah, and Zack Sabre Jr. is a posh boy. And he's taking over Japan at the moment. He just won the G1, and he's about to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, with the plan being that he wants to walk into New Japan's show Royal Quest at Crystal Palace as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, a proper homecoming. And I'm genuinely gutted that he didn't walk into Crystal Palace for Royal Quest as IWGP Heavyweight Champion. That seemed like an obvious win for New Japan, but who am I to say anything?
Oh my, you're so good at this. Oh my God. Future Jay appreciates it so much, as is present Jay.
Man, he better win that belt. Oh my God.
Zack Sabre goes straight for Orange Cassidy because they wrestled at Forbidden Door at the end of June. Smartly, Nigel waits for the others to exit so the British lads can have their 2 minutes and soak up the atmosphere. Taz, he's pretty funny here. He's like, I thought Nigel would be gassed. He looks great.
But he was shredded.
Well, Nigel's been so long since he's competed, but man, his cardio is, I thought he'd be gassed by now. He's looking great.
Time to fight Okada. Usually Zack Sabre Jr. and Okada would cross paths in tournaments or like multi-man tags in New Japan, who fakes out doing his Rainmaker pose with a middle finger, which Zack twists and gives him the Oasis fingers.
That was great.
Universal. He takes down the legs of Okada. Now the legs laced.
Number 6, your best mate, Roddy Strong, is out next.
Man, Roddy Strong came out like fucking Bill Goldberg in this match. Just wrecking shop, throwing people around like an absolute madman. Okay, I said something many years ago, okay? I
think you've atoned for this already.
I get guff for it every so often.
At the time, it was very accurate.
At the time, my point was that Ring of Honor had just been raided by both WWE and TNA, and they lost all of their top guys. And so they had to emergency push people up to world title level. And they went with Roddy, who is a phenomenal wrestler, and he's about as charismatic as a fucking shoe. And
not a nice shoe.
And I just
clearly you've never seen the shoe people.
And I was trying to say something nice there, and I just buried it again.
You were trying to say he was better.
I think his run in AEW has been brilliant. He's had great match after great match after great match.
Yeah, we need Adam Cole back so he could do more skits with him.
Yeah,
because he's been fantastic there. Commentators are like, oh, next guy already? Okay, because they're booking spot to spot and not actual timed intervals. That's half the entrance. Number 7 is Dem Boys, ROH World Champion Mark Briscoe, who just drops his ROH World title. Thankfully, not a pittance.
It's a slight pittance. Yeah. This is the Chavo as the ECW champion entering into the Royal Rumble because he wants to win the proper belt, you know?
Ooh, Briscoe.
I love Mark Briscoe, by the way.
Yeah.
He's the most charismatic man in the USA. You give that man a microphone and let him go, and he is just captivating. He's phenomenal, and I love him, and I want him to win all of the belts.
Oh my God. He does this karate pose and scream. He's like, he dies. It's so good. Redneck Kung Fu.
He's the Sussex County Chicken.
Hey.
It's brilliant.
Sabre trying to come in behind.
Number 8 is Black Bart Hangman Page. He's only in this to face Swerve. He's still bitterly grumbling, losing that awesome Texas Death match at Full Gear last year. And, if he wins this, he can have a title match. And that's how he's going to get the Swerve, should Swerve retain. OC dives out, no use, countered. OC tries again, no use, countered. Anything else, OC? Deadeye, just in time for
And that was tremendous right there by Hangman.
Yes, my boy!
Oh my God.
What a pop.
I was so happy.
That was mainly me, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'll send you, Jake, splicey. As the countdown was on, I had a feeling that it was going to be Jeff Jarrett. So you captured my reaction as the Bree Woo hits and the stadium's reaction.
Give me a Bree Woo! Give me a Bree Woo! Give me a Bree Woo! We got a Bree Woo! Yeah!
Hit like a drug, I tell you what. Because I've been trying to manifest for Wembley. I was trying to manifest quite aggressively Jeff Jarrett versus Hangman Page. Made a song about it and everything. And trying to use my powers for good. And again, asking people to politely tweet Tony Khan and say, Tony Khan, you coward, book Jeff Jarrett versus Hangman Page. And the fact that this was a moment in this match, I'm going to count that as a win.
Big time.
Justified.
I was thinking like Jeff Jarrett would be bigger in the UK because TNA was on Bravo there, and so it was on like free TV as opposed to having to pay for Sky or BT or whatever for WWE.
Oh yeah, it was massive over here. Well, Will Ospreay has said on numerous occasions he was a TNA kid growing up, and there's a whole generation of wrestlers that are from the UK that go, oh yeah, it was TNA for me because of how easy it was to get hold of it on free telly. Everyone's TNA kids in this country. Bring Bound for Glory to the UK, you cowards! You cowards.
Yes. Number 10 is fucking hell. It's Ricochet.
Oh my God.
Oh, AEW almost do the Roman AJ Rumble, miss him with the camera. But they get it. It's fine. He was on Raw June 3rd doing the honors for Braun Breaker. So, he's coming in. Holy shit.
I will have you know, he was the speed champion.
Is that the Twitter champion?
He was the champion of Twitter.
Okay.
He's been the champion of Twitter since then. He's been kicking off at fans.
Oh my God. Is there something that switches in someone's brain that when they sign for AEW, they just have to start fighting the fans?
Yeah, it's called a lack of social media policy.
Tony, sort it out, mate.
That's what it is. I think WWE just kind of go, look, just wind it in a bit. And AEW go, whatever, you do you, hun.
Because everyone else sees it and say, oh, you're a bit of a loser now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're down in the dirt.
It looks so bad.
Like, even if you're denying what someone stupid said, you are also validating it by saying this is a topic worthy of talking about. Mm-hmm. So you just go down with them. You don't, you don't smack them down. People just
don't be on social media fighting with Rhea's tits 69, with 72 followers. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Come on, Ricochet.
I have to unfollow that guy now.
You found my burner.
God, I really hope there is someone.
Yeah.
Rhea's tits 69 out there.
If there isn't before, there will be after this.
Hangman and the AEW lads are so nice. They just give him 2 minutes to get his crazy moveset over as the commentators marvel at his speed. Ends in a huge shooting star press from the top rope to the outside.
Ridiculous. Like, he's insane. And I'm very excited to see what he's going to do when just Tony says,
There
are no rules.
Yeah.
Just go out and do whatever you fucking want to, mate. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, he has that bit on Dynamite where he kind of launches on the outside and then he splats on the ground and does the DX. Oh, that's great. Love it. Number 11, it's a different TNA theme. It's Christian Cage.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He hobbles down the ramp selling like a champ, thankfully, kayfabe, and Ricochet comes out to meet him. Back in the ring, buckshot lariato, and Okada does a disrespectful jab with his foot to break it up. I love it. Karen, dressed in a beautiful, chocobo yellow, distracts Hangman, priming him for and the baby powder goes everywhere. I imagine he'd have to get the guitar from... Does he bring that through customs?
Imagine trying to get a guitar full of white powder through customs. How does Tony Khan do it?
I'm just guessing it's like the world of wrestling is like John Wick, and there's wrestling clubs in all the main cities in the world. And, you know, in John Wick, you know, they press a button and the wall turns around and there's shotguns and everything. And, you know, in this world, like, you press the button and it goes bree-woo, and there's canes and chairs and guitars and
all full with soot.
Yeah, that is how things happen in my brain.
Okay. It's a flurry of different people trying to get the quick win. Nigel's back in and tries his corner posting to no avail, denies what would be a doomsday device from the conglomeration, and sets up a Tower of London. Get in.
And Briscoe, London! Nigel, is he going to do it? Got it! No!
And the crowd are so sad it doesn't get a 3. But what does? Nigel finally gets his fulcrum lariat dough, but Christian isn't having it. Number 12, the final entrant is Luchasaurus. Comes out, motions to end Christian. Everyone's like, what? But chokeslams Jimmy Bennett, giving Cage the easy pickings 1, 2, 3, and Christian gets the next world title shot against Swerve or Brian Tap the Nose. This match had no business being this much fun. It was just pop after pop after pop. Incredible live experience. This was my main event. I was happy to go home after this. I was shattered. Zack Sabre Jr. is welcome to the AEW roster. Got to show off his cool moves. Ricochet is welcome to the AEW roster. Got to show off his cool moves. Jarrett broke his 6,000th guitar. And Nigel got such a strong showing. And he would have won it if it had not been for Dastardly Cage. And by the way, he's in insane shape for a 50-year-old. Holy shit.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Phenomenal match. Oh my God.
Loved it. I thought this match from bell to bell was just ridiculous amounts of fun. Great wrestlers coming in, massive pops, cool spots, mark out moments over and over again. And WWE have the Royal Rumble and Hell in a Cell, and TNA had, you know, like the Ultimate X and the Reverse Battle Royal and the clipboard. And I think this is AEW's signature match now. I think it's so great that I hope that Tony Khan doesn't do it on random TV shows and he gives it a big build and it's at a pay-per-view and it leads to a big title match. Yeah, it's just a massive win. Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Really surprised by that end sequence. I mean, it's surprised, not unpleasantly surprised. There was Christian Cage getting the win. The Luchasaurus bit was a bit strange because he's been called Killswitch on TV for the longest of times. Christian Cage changed his name to be more in line with the family, so he became Killswitch. So him running out as Luchasaurus, everybody went, oh, is this a babyface turn for Luchasaurus? Like, he gave us the good jogging babyface run to the ring. He got in there, he grabbed Christian Cage, and he went, oh, it was a setup all along. Have that, Jimmy Bennett. And then Christian Cage won. That smorgasbord of talent that was in that match, it's like being given a PS5 box, but inside is a £100 voucher for HMV. And you go, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but that's still very nice. It's like asking for Tatanka to come to your birthday party and Bret Hart turning up. It's all right, I suppose. But Christian Cage in the mix for the title is perfect. He's doing some magnificent work.
Yeah, actually, just what you were saying there. Insane run for Christian since the world opened back up.
Are there moments with the work you've done in AEW where you feel like, I can't believe they're letting me say this?
Well, not really, because I've never told anybody what I'm going to say.
I was only giving Jungle Boy's mom the chance to apologize to me for giving birth to Jungle Boy. Your father dying was the best thing that ever happened to you because it led you to me. Jungle Boy, I'm sorry. Your entire family isn't dead, and they had to witness...
Christian's fantastic run these last few years. Kick off with returning in the 2021 Royal Rumble to help out eventual winner Edge. Signs for AEW, which we covered at AEW Revolution 2021. Pledging to outwork everyone. Doesn't do the job for 6 months. Beats belt collector Kenny Omega for the TNA title at the first Rampage. Headlines a banger of a pay-per-view, All Out 2021 against Kenny. That's the one with Darby versus Punk. Catches fire and gains widespread notoriety with the "'Cause Your Father's Dead." Working with Jungle Boy really improved Perry's confidence and persona, which we're reaping the benefits of today. great match at last year's All In, the Coffin match versus Darby and Sting, wins and elevates the TNT title, becomes a father to Nick Wayne, establishes the patriarchy, which is an amazing name, tells Edge, first time on live television and wrestling broadcast, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, holy shit.
Go fuck yourself.
Has another round of great matches with Adam Copeland, including the repeated kick to the balls finish. You should quit if I kick you to the balls. Love it. His group gains the trios title, and tonight Christian gives us a double performance at All In and ends the night a winner with a future pay-per-view main event. And Steve, that's why he can't be in your boy stable.
I know. It breaks my heart, but I do have to let this 50-plus-year-old boy. It's time to fly the coop, Christian. Jay, go on. I set you free.
I like that it's a bird in the stable and not a horse.
I have limited range. I think that's about as good as time as any to say this is the halfway point of the show. It's time for the Outbreak Questionnaire.
Sometimes you meet your heroes, it's not great. Like the Ultimate Warrior was my hero when I was a kid. You know, it's the first poster I ever had on my wall. And I waited for him outside of the arena. And I took my poster, I asked him for his autograph. He said, not now, kid. And I was like, Ultimate Warrior.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That's actually heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was the worst.
This wedding brought to you by Pound Shaggers.
This ice cream will cut your gums. And we're back with the international/real American title. It's MJF, the champion, versus Will Ospreay. Now, the builder, Stephen. 59 minutes, 58 seconds bout at Dynamite 250. MJF wins the international title. An easy dub for him, is who he says. An easy win. I'm calling it the US title Americana, baby. What do you think of MJF's Americana gimmick?
It's a bit ham-fisted, but he's so wildly entertaining that he pulls it off. Like, I don't think there's anything you could throw at him that he's not going to make work, you know? Is it cheesy? Is it something that we've seen a million times? Yeah. But is it still great? Is it still entertaining? And is he still awesome at it? And does it get heat? Does it put babyface fire onto Will Ospreay? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Well, MJF... Max is really layering it up, huh?
I thought it was loads of fun.
Yes. Of course, the America gimmick is disingenuous as he's not actually ultra patriotic, but he's the champ. You try tell him that. Earlier in the month, MJF successfully defended his American title in CMLL. He went due south to Newcastle, apparently, to Arena Mexico to wrestle Templario. Good match, standard. MJF is, he's always great. But my favourite part of the match was the crowd working pre-match, where he gets Rocky Romero to translate his insults to the crowd. Slicey.
Su nombre es Maxwell Jacobo Fredman.
MJF, he went on a bit of a tour of the UK news outlets, which included a wonderful near hour-long conversation with Cultaholic and our very own Jack the Jobber. And MJF was just a treat to listen to throughout that whole thing. At one point, gaslighting Jack the Jobber to the point where he didn't think the American Civil War happened. Feel free to splicey.
Here's your clickbait. You just made up an entire war for clicks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so fucking cool. Sounds like such a great guy, and I'm so impressed with Jack able to kind of keep up with him as well, because I imagine you're immediately off your game because he's so ultra talented, Tom, what was the build up to this match?
It was basically MJF saying America is the best. I'm going to take out anybody that Will Ospreay calls his boy. It involved a match with Kyle Fletcher that saw him just decimate Kyle Fletcher at the very end of it. It also incorporated the match that we talked about earlier on with Michael Oku, another one of Will Ospreay's boys. It's just all the while it's been MJF trying to get into the head of Will Ospreay ahead of this big night out at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously, the intrigue of the bout is that Ospreay has one move in his arsenal that'd beat MJF, the Tiger Driver, but won't use it because it's so dangerous. But I just like when they go home quip and they're doing back and forth, it's just Ospreay has a dig at there being 3,000 people backstage and their nan, which is having a pop at Toni for hiring everyone under the sun. Fantastic, which is true, but don't misperch Sue.
Oh, I love a bit of Sue.
Or Buddy Wayne's wife, either.
Mr. Ospreay, we have not been formally introduced. My name is Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Entrance, Ospreay's Assassin's Creed entrance. AEW even got Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Ezio.
That was really cool. I know Ospreay has gone on the record saying like this is his all-time favorite game and he loves the series and his gear is based off of it.
Yeah, with the cowl. Yeah,
the cowl, and his finisher move is the hidden blade.
Yeah.
And bits of it were really cool. Could have done without the date of your upcoming game on the banners, you know. It was a little bit much, but I'm sure it meant the world to Will.
Yeah, so he's like formally inducted into the Assassin's Creed Guild. He also has a tattoo.
I will have you know he's not, because he didn't cut off his fucking finger.
There we go.
There we go, Will.
Obviously, like he had an Assassin's Creed entrance at Wrestle Kingdom earlier in the year, but this is at fucking Wembley.
What if his favourite game had been WWE 2K20? So as part of the entrance, he just glitches through the ramp.
Brilliant.
I would love that. MJF is out last. He looks so preposterous. It's amazing. Our star-spangled scumbag. It is Americana getup. Gets a giant MJF flag, and the streamers, which catch onto the truss, and they're there for the rest of the night.
Yes! And that happened last year as well, and they learned nothing.
I love it. By the way, taking the giant flag down, there was like a train of helper monkeys that got it and just scooted off backstage, and I just had to see them because they look like a caterpillar, a giant caterpillar walking around.
Awesome.
Yeah. MJF in his Lex Luger gear.
Yes.
It was like, hang on, this looks actually like his gear. It's like, Lex, you gotta check your bag, mate. And Lex actually tweeted out, I thought I may have noticed a pair of my tights missing the other day.
Yes.
Awesome. By the way, no dynamite ring on MJF's finger.
I heard about this. Some rapscallion stole it when he was on tour in the UK.
And I thought that was a work, obviously, to be later in the match. It would play into someone comes in and it has to do with the dynamite ring. But no,
yeah,
it's legit gone. I was like, that's bullshit. Unless you said he got robbed at knife point in London.
Oh.
You're full of shit, mate. You know?
He needed Emma with him, is what he needed. That we had Emma. She kept us safe.
Hopefully not Emma, the wrestler who likes to steal things.
Steve, MJF, didn't he have, like, he was telling you have a bit of scandal about the dynamite ring?
Oh yeah. So I was going back and forth with Max there on like DMs like about a year or so ago, and he was telling me that during a match he had to keep the ring in his jocks, and it was a really long match, and he said that his balls the next day were in absolute tatters. He's saying that it just tore them to shreds, and I was like, oh Max, no, not the jewels, mate.
Should have gone with a bracelet like Drew McIntyre did. Far nicer on the ball.
Or put in a little baggie, for God's sake.
Set to square off here tonight in London for the AEW American Championship.
Ding, ding, ding. And the lads immediately work to the outside. Ospreay with a beautiful handspring backflip crashing onto MJF on the outside. And we see Ospreay's suction cup bruises on his lower back. It looks like he fought and lost to an octopus. But cupping is for increased blood flow, for pain relief, or it's a kind of type of massage to reduce inflammation, that kind of thing. He does try the same spot later on. MJF is ready for it and reverses into a tombstone.
That was awesome.
But safe. Ospreay readies a hidden blade, but puts on the brakes, narrowly not hitting ref Bryce Remsburg. Remember that bit for later. Big boot at the security railing as Platinum Max in the crowd. So, no, Plastic Max Caster gives him the double bird. The lads do some cool reversals and, oh man, the streamers, they're still dangling. So they just like, at Wembley, they turn up the fans to try to blow it off their camera. MJF does a kangaroo kick and demands an ovation, which he does not receive.
I love this spot. Last year, he had managed to get this, and let's face it, it's fucking stupid. It's a stupid move and a stupid spot, but he's so good that he managed to get this move over to the point that when he did it at Wembley, it got an ovation. The place erupted. And flash forward 1 year, and the very same spot, the very same move gets ultra heat. I'm like, this guy gets it.
In the same arena, yeah.
So all the ha-ha was in the past.
What about an eye poke and Rick Rude hip swivel? Nothing. But I was like, yeah! No, God, everyone else sucks. Sidebar, it is a bit difficult to get across just how explosive and spectacular Ospreay's offense is. Like, even just a flying elbow is incredible. He does a sky twister, which is a standing spiral tap. Shooting star press onto MJF draped over the ropes. It's, oh my God, and this is just another move, do you know? Max shouts out, "You think you're special, you piece of shit? Just because you can flip?"
Anybody can flip, you piece of shit!
MJF denies a Stormbreaker, but hits a Crossroads, but only gets a 2. And just like if you look at this sequence in slow-mo, you will see Will book MJF to the left. MJF catches his head and switches to the other arm to ready the Crossroads.
It was phenomenal.
It was perfect. Well,
so smooth.
And they do a flurry of so many excellently executed spots. Like, it happens so fast you can't really process it live, so it behooves you to watch it again. Will charges in with a single leg, countered as MJF swings his leg over, an immediate pile driver. Or Max goes for a lariat. Ospreay bowls back through it 360 degrees backwards, landing with Max's head between its legs, hoists him up double underhook to get MJF to his shoulders and hit a Stormbreaker. It was perfect. But the fans chant Tiger Driver because they know that'll be the finish.
Finds himself on the apron with Will Ospreay. Ospreay. Cutter. Oh, damn. Crashed and burned it, Ospreay.
MJF wouldn't mind a count-out victory though, so jumps off the turnbuckle on the apron and hits a jumping American Destroyer. And comically argues with the ref about his count speed. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No? God.
Right below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I would say that Ospreay needed every bit of that 10 count.
Hidden blade from the apron to the cameraman, who steals the spotlight with his Brandon Cutler level underwear and socks.
He got elbowed out of his jocks. It was brilliant.
I kind of think wrestling might be a work because there was a cameraman behind the cameraman catching his spot.
No.
There's something, I don't know.
Not quite on the level.
Friedman uses this distraction to grab the American title and clock Ospreay. 1, 2, no! Brain buster! 1, 2, no! Max almost hits the ref with a hidden blade, stops, instead of apologizing, shouts, "Watch where you're going!" Oh my God.
Bryce Remsburg almost.
And the ref takes a bump anyway. Ospreay motions for a Tiger Driver, but his hesitance gives way to a whoa! No dynamite ring, so how about this shitty brass knucks?
Oh man, it's like the saddest brass knucks ever. It was like he just wrapped a little bit of masking tape in a circle, you know?
Yeah. Stopped by a masked man. Daniel Garcia is like, oh, I know those lips anywhere. Reminds me of this match that Garcia had with Alex Shelley a while ago, and he had kind of tied up Alex in the ropes, and Alex tries to fuck with him by just kissing him, and he no-sells it completely, and Alex takes a bump off that, and he's like, whoa, what's going on? Brilliant. Garcia's distraction leaves Max prime for a hidden blade. Will he try it? The crowd at fever pitch, banging the security railings, worked into a frenzy. Ospreay with the crazy eyes hits the Tiger Driver. Max crashing neck first, about as safe as the move gets. And the ref is still on the outside. Come on, Bryce. 1, 2, 3, and Ospreay wins.
Oh my God. It was fucking great. It was so fast, so smooth, so well worked in terms of in-ring work rate and competently doing moves. It was just leagues above everything else up to this point. I feel like Max is so good at the character side of wrestling that people forget how good he is once the bell rings.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
He's undeniable. Like, is he as good as Ospreay? No, probably not. Who is? Kenny, maybe,
Turbo, yeah.
Turbo! But yeah, exceptional. 2 amazing workers at their peak, going out there for 26 minutes or something like that. Never a dull moment. Got the crowd into a fever pitch by the end and timed the finish of the match to perfection. They finished the match when the crowd were on the peak, and yeah, magnificent.
Absolutely agree. You said it all, mate. I was kind of sad that MJF left under his own, on his 2 feet and not had to be stretchered out, because then you'd have Doc Samson, putting the oxygen mask on his eyes.
It's such a funny spot, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible. The boobery. What do you think, Tom?
Like the streamers, they could have hung in there all night. They were fabulous. And I was intrigued as to where they were going to go, because we had that basically an hour-long match between them as part of the build. Going back to what we talked about at the very beginning with how Drew and CM Punk has kind of gone through the gears, I was like, where do you go from there? And I looked at the card, and sometimes AEW cards just make me feel a bit sad, because I go, it's 10 matches and they're all going to go an hour. And I thought, there's no way they're going to go an hour again with all this. They didn't need to. Like Steve said, they knew the exact zenith of the match and went, that is where we go home. Didn't fall into the trap of constantly doing it. The Tiger Driver bit, very much like Toni Storm, reluctant to use the shoe. It was played perfectly over the last few months, and Will finally pulling that one out is great. I think that's something that you can use for Will Ospreay matches going forward. I don't think the reluctance to use the Tiger Driver ends here. I think it's something that you can use again and again in those blood stories and those blood rivalries that Will has coming up. MJF absolutely deserved every single inch of it. He has been the best kind of arsehole for a good month and a bit now. The right result, the right finish, sensational match. And I won't hear any more conversation about whether MJF can go or not, because I think he's in there with Will, and I think that they both complemented each other so well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Incredible. I was just thinking of Assassin's Creed spots that Will Ospreay could do. I was like, could he take a dive into a bale of hay and disappear and the rest of them, they can't find them now? Do you know?
It's a drinking contest with MJF. Skull.
I was like, if he hits too many NPCs, he'll desync and lose the level.
That's it. He has to run around Wembley pulling down posters,
Pulling down streamers.
Book it, Tony, you coward.
Got a swatch and a find a fact so that he can correlate his facts. He's got cash, he's got money.
Match number 10 is for the Women's TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker. DMD's been out for 10 months. It had been said that she was nursing a back injury. Well, she did. She had multiple herniated discs and a torn labrum in her knee. But the real kicker is that she actually suffered a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or mini stroke. That's where you get a temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain. Only lasts a few minutes, usually no lasting effects, but 1 out of 3 TIAs can lead to a stroke.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that.
Terrifying.
Oh man, she was telling you on this on Dynamite, and it's just the response was it was like apathy. Her livelihood is at stake, and she worked damn hard to get back, because she was banged up physically and mentally, and she asked Toni, listen, I need to get right, can I have some time? And he said, yeah, that's no problem, just give us a bell when you get back. So she's been convalescing ever since. Britt is an elder statesman in terms of AEW, being the most prominent woman in AEW at the start, not named Brandy Rhodes, and cemented her status in AEW with bouts like the great Lights Out match with Thunder Rosa, your best mate, which was a crazy, bloody, hardcore plunder match on Dynamite in 2021. That's where Thunder Rosa does the Thunder Driver off the apron through the table. Amazing.
Oh, the match was great.
Fire Thunder Driver through the table!
She returned to challenge Mercedes post-match at Forbidden Door. I'm the returning babyface, and you're the flashy superstar heel champion. I was told that DMD is still a dentist.
Yeah, she still works.
Like she, because I was under the impression, like in the new gen, when Duke Drosy comes to ring, I can't see him going to Vince and say, I can't work Mondays and Thursdays. You have to take out the bins. Do you know what I mean?
I have to take out the bins.
It takes all day. She's got a really long driveway.
She should be on a single salary job. Do you know what I mean? Anyway. Oh, Mercedes, what's her build? She went to Wetherspoons.
This is so funny.
She slagged off that breakfast, but any Wetherspoons aficionado, very much like Ross Tweddle from Cultaholic, he pointed this out. You would have to go and select that particular breakfast from the menu and deliberately remove items from it. So she took off the beans, she took off the sausage, and then went, oh, this looks rubbish. Yeah, because you took off the beans and the sausage. Of course it looks rubbish. Oh, I ordered a bacon sandwich, but I asked for just the bun. This is crap. Of course it is, because you took away the main bit, you divot.
Yeah, I feel like she didn't actually eat that. That was just a laugh. Like I can't see her actually eating that.
I mean, also, look at her. Do you think she eats fried breakfast?
Oh my God. Do you know what exists in England that we don't have over here?
What's that?
Fried bread.
Oh man, I used to love fried bread when I was a kid. You just don't...
Did your mom make that?
Yeah. You used to get the block of lard and you... Like, it's the worst food in the world, but it's fucking delicious.
When you bite it and the oil comes out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, that's the build for Mercedes.
That's the breakfast.
Whole build.
Yeah.
The whole build is she went to Spoons.
From day one, she's a day one girl here in this company.
Britt Baker with an extremely low-key entrance, especially compared to Sasha, who's driven in a carriage with her corgis. By the way, Snowden, Honey and Jam, they're actually related to the Queen's corgis.
That's the best.
You did their names. That's lovely.
And then does her really cringy CEO dance.
Oh, I hate it. It's so stupid. Learn one other dance move, please.
And I'm like, okay, I've waited long enough. Why do you have this gimmick of a CEO? We have actual EVPs on the card. It's like, imagine if someone came out and it's like, I own AEW. And it's like, well, Tony Khan is still here. You can't have this gimmick.
I think her general presentation hasn't landed in AEW. Sasha Banks was perfect. That whole presentation of Sasha Banks was perfect. The name flowed well. It's easy to say and pleasing to say. Mercedes Moné, it doesn't work for me. And the character feels like it's trying to be Sasha Banks without being Sasha Banks.
I get what you're doing by having the CEO chants as part of the theme, but all it does is highlight the fact that no one's chanting CEO.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I kind of wish that rather than going for the, Mercedes Moné, as a kind of play on the Sasha Banks, some kind of credit union.
Credit union!
Overdraft Mackenzie.
Mercedes has her very own China, a buff booby babe bodyguard called Camille.
She looks amazing.
Dad, you're in rare form tonight, buddy. I get it.
Ding, ding, ding. Immediate disinterest as they try do a reversal spot and kind of lose themselves a bit. They try it again and they get lost again. It's a bit awkward, but nothing horrific. Mercedes scoops up Britt and drops her back first onto the corner turnbuckle, which is one of the lightest bumps you'll take. Clever Taz exclaimed, "It's a large metal buckle under a thin pad." So it is painful. Didn't you know? Love your kayfabe, mate. Sasha works, I'm just going to call her Sasha sometimes, works on the lower back. Shitty springboard into back breaker. Let's try it again. Much nicer for the hard camera. Mercedes knows the crowd aren't interested and takes stock. She's we get a big power slam drop from the turnbuckle, and I swear I heard CM Punk chants.
Yes, there were a few.
It's not even his match, you know. Britt breaks out the red wanking glove, looking for her finisher, the lockjaw, which is the Rings of Saturn mandible claw combo. Mercedes gets the glove, and Britt scrambles to get it back, and lads, sort it out. Earlier on, we saw Sasha do a Three Amigos Eddie Guerrero triple suplex, and when Sasha tries to use the title as a weapon, Britt uses the lie, cheat and steal tactic of pretending she got hit by the belt, and Camille, you're out of here.
And that was a spot that saved this match, because the crowd were dead. And then this got them into this match.
Yes. Britt hits a Canadian destroyer and a curb stomp, but that's not enough to apply lockjaw because reasons. Mercedes bites the hand, a great counter, and the two awkwardly do some near fall reversals until Mercedes hits the Mone maker and wins.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I thought the match was a bit sloppy. I think this was put in the absolute death spot. I feel like if you put any match here, the first half of it would have been mostly dead. And so they had an uphill battle as it was. The second uphill battle is that Britt, I'm a huge fan. I think Britt's great. I don't think she's the crispest worker in the world, but I think she's a solid worker who gets over with her character work and her promos. She doesn't have her ring legs back. She's been out for like the guts of a year, and she's had one short match on TV, and she gassed out, and there was nothing much that they could do. It was fine, you know. It was a television match that was put on AEW's WrestleMania and didn't really deliver.
See, that's the problem. If the general standard of women's matches is way higher, especially after she's gone and she comes back and it's below that.
Yeah.
Like, when I was watching this and watching them fail to do spots, or it's really sloppy and that you see them helping each other out, I was like, am I going to have to grade this on a curve again? Which is what you did with women's matches prior to the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
With Becky and Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah.
But also, like, Sasha is not an incredible worker. She is. She cannot hide other people's flaws.
I agree. I think she's someone who, when she wrestles someone who's not at her level, she can't pull somebody up. She wrestles down to their level. Not to say that Britt's a bad wrestler or anything, but Sasha was not able to lift her, you know?
Also, the Mone maker is shite.
Agreed. I hate it.
Oh, it's dreadful.
It's awful.
Oh, God. Who looks at that and goes, yep, that's the one. The half-hearted, half-witted gory bomb that falls to the side. That's me. It's again that thing that the Sasha Banks presentation in every sense is just so much sharper than the Mercedes Moné one.
I agree. What did you think of the match, Tom?
From what I saw, it was in a tough spot. Admittedly, this was my other piss break match.
I was going to ask if you saw it from the toilet.
I was nervous because at one point I was worried that the hard cam might have picked me up walking back to my seat with popcorn and 2 beers. Watching it back, it's better watching it in the venue. But this is the one thing that I love, that AEW stack their pay-per-views with high-quality matches up and down, all the way down, with every match has the intention to potentially be a main event. But this needed to be a bit tighter and brighter than what it was. But you do need those sort of little matches that give you a little bit of breathing room. You do need those matches that aren't going to steal the show, but are there to serve a purpose for the greater good of the show. And AEW doesn't have those. And I feel like this, you know, with nothing but love for both people involved. I know I've been a bit harsh on Mercedes Moné, but I do think she's really good. I encourage you, if you want to see
Mercedes at her best, a few weeks after that, at New Japan Capital Collision, she had a banger against Momo Watanabe. And that was leagues better than what we had with Britt Baker at Wembley.
Ooh, Steve, what did Mercedes say about the match in her newsletter?
She said, is there anything I would have done differently? There is. Honestly, a lot. Sorry. But I don't ever want to go too deep into what ifs about my matches or life for that matter.
Okay, well, we'll get to that second part in the scrum.
Yeah. I just want to point out, so we were talking about like palate cleansers or a match to bring the crowd down before you bring them back up. May I put forward Fozzy playing Wembley for the third time?
You don't want the crowd to go home, Steve. Yeah, listen, it's all right. Like, Britt will improve now that she's back with more matches. She'll get better. And Sasha, at least she finally got a better breakfast.
Nice.
That's because she got the beans.
There you go, the beans. You need maybe some mushrooms.
You need
in there.
them toast. Do you know?
You always have to have toast.
What do we got next?
Jack Perry versus Darby Allin.
Big Dobbs.
Her penultimate matchup with the penultimate warrior. It's scapegoat Jack Perry, the champion of the TNT finish sentence, versus Darby Allin. Jack Perry, love what he's been doing, parlaying his heat with the CM Punk ska into the scapegoat heel gimmick, beating up Tony Khan. You're relishing his like heel status and everyone just gives him a load of grief. It's great, showing way more confidence, personality and creativity, using his perceived unfair treatment as a way to have a moan.
Yeah, I think it's the most over he's ever been. I think he's done as good a job as possible with the new gimmick, with the new look, with the new presentation. Maybe he should be featured on television a bit more heavily. Can we have 6 minutes less Jericho every week and a little bit more Jack Piri? And
hey, oh my God.
The new scapegoat's over. He's now Jack Piri. Delicious chicken.
Yes. Cool shit. He made his own TNT championship. Sorry, he forged his own title.
Forged it.
Creating it from a replica with a sand mold. Fucking smelting the iron himself.
That clip was awesome. I think the belt looks great. The only thing that could make it better is more Taco Bell ads.
The question is how much you're willing to sacrifice for it.
Why take less when you can get a beefy 5-layer burrito?
It's something I mentioned earlier about how it's just Tony Khan putting these shows together and nobody else's. Therefore, sometimes you will get a bit of duplication because we have two stories going into AEW All In, which are both around guys who have their own versions of their titles made.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right.
Damn it, D-Lo.
Steve, how's Darby been doing since Sting retired?
Mostly not really there. He broke his foot jumping off of the rope. Then he got hit by a bus. Which is like the ending of what Final Destination 1 when, you know, like your man's like, we're all safe. And boom! He gets misted. He was supposed to climb Everest and that didn't happen. And then they brought him back early for Anarchy in the Arena and he set Jack Piri on fire.
Turned him into barbecue chicken.
Which was fucking awesome. Was he in Blood and Guts, is it?
Yes, that was how they got to this match. So they had the conclusion of Blood and Guts, saw him beating up Jack Perry.
Yeah, and he wanted to set him alight. And then the Bucks said, no, we quit. And then that was the end of it. Solid. I would say this was my most anticipated match.
Wow.
As Perry's a big smelly carny that wants to use real glass and Darby's a big smelly carny who just wants to end his career, you know, since Sting is left. So he's just doing crazy shit and I was like, my mind wandered off on what he could do. Is he gonna like base jump from the top of Wembley? You know. Anyway, so I was like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? It's the biggest show of the year. What's your stunt gonna be? if he sets Jack Perry on fire on a random Dynamite,
what's he gonna do at their WrestleMania?
And then we will be coming back to London, England for 2025, but that will have to wait because, oh God, I love Darby Allin. Darby Allin.
Perry goes to the ring. Darby hurls his body at Perry. That's what you get for posing, mate. Allin has super glue tacks on his face, literally thumbtacks, which is the most Punk thing I've ever seen.
That was mental. Like, he got colour on this match without a spot to get him colour, just because he stuck pins in his fucking face.
Perry's got a bag too of crushed glass.
Oh, real? CM Punk. There was immediate CM Punk chants. It's so funny.
Yeah, and later on we do get fuck CM Punk chants as well. Dude soaks it all in and then immediately gets backdropped onto the glass. Darby follows up by Toni hawking on him with the skateboard.
Yeah, that's a great spot. That must hurt so much.
And Darby, the skateboard into the spine of Jack Perry.
Ooh, Jungle Man tapes Darby's hands together and gets some free shots in, but that can't stop Darby from coffin dropping back into him. Powerbomb on the ramp, and we see Darby's half skull face paint. The other half is painted with blood. Darby's belt is whipped off and is used to tie his feet together and is thrown through a table beside them, which is apparently 20 feet away, according to Taz.
Yeah, watch this landing here to your point. Yeah, that's definitely maybe close to 20 feet.
Pack Darby into a body bag and step on his face to shove it in. You bollocks, he just get it. Oh, great. After Darby's thrown into the casket, his last gasp attempt, he pokes his head out of the bag without died, and he eats a knee to the face. Oh, well, that's going to be it then. Casket door slammed shut, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There it is. The lid is shut, and Jack Perry remains TNT champion.
I know, right?
They had time shaved off this match. The show was overrunning, so this was the match that got the thick end of the wedge because they got a curfew for Wembley, and if they go over that curfew, they just get fined and no one can get home. So they're like, so something's got to give.
I'd heard, Tom, that the fine is by the minute.
Oh, is it?
Which is fucking nuts because I think the show went like 4 minutes over, and I'm like, I wonder how much that cost Tony Khan.
I thought you were going to say the fine is by Bryan Danielson with his notepad.
Just talking about curfews, I did hear the 10 p.m. curfew really helped congestion. Like, all of the reports I heard, everyone just was able to get out of the arena quick. They never stopped walking until they got onto a tube and were able to get a tube and were able to get out pretty easy. So it's success.
Nice.
Obviously, there's 22,000 less this year
than last year. Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic. Everyone got out on time. Yeah. Oh.
It's weird. I thought that the Mercedes Britt match was worse, but this match disappointed me more because I thought we were going to get some huge, crazy, blood-filled spot fest with these guys doing crazy stuff, and we got a bit of walk and brawl. Yeah, it's very disappointing.
Is it a bit Hardy versus Hardy at WrestleMania?
Oh God, it was a bit actually,
because they got time shaved off them as well, so they just went spot to spot.
Yeah,
it's a shame. Post match is where we get the big moment. The middle-aged Bucks bring a gas tank, not Greg Valentine, but before they can set him on fire, which would be kind of turnabout as fair play, to the rescue. And I was like, that would have been great, but the internet posted that Sting's son was in London. So I was like, well, obviously Sting is here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Jack Perry running for the hills. He's not stupid. Jack's smart. Get out of there.
Your mate.
I mean, to be fair, he also posted he was in London.
Yeah.
Garrett Borden has been on the podcast feed. We did a lovely interview back in February after he turned up at Revolution, because he's a Destiny streamer.
Yes.
He's Garrett Borden. He's such a fascinating, such a lovely guy. because we were sat in the pub after we'd finished our challenge video, and I just out loud say, I'm going to see if Garrett fancies a pint. Garrett, we're in the pub. Do you fancy coming in? And then I get a reply within a few minutes going, yeah, it'd be lovely to see you. And I went, Garrett's just replied he wants to see us. That's great. And then I feel this arm on my shoulder. This hunk of a man goes, was somebody talking about me over here? And it was Garrett Borden.
Hey, wow.
Never met him before. I'm a bit, and as Jake will attest, I've interviewed him once, and we had a few chats on online back and forth. As he came to the table, my first instinct was to throw my arms around him. Hello, mate! Lovely to see you. Aww. We went for breakfast the next day. It was lovely, and we just put the world to rights. But Garrett is lovely. God love Garrett Borden. You know, hello, Garrett. If you're watching, can we be best friends, please? That'd be nice.
You're like, hi, Garrett, can I join your raid team, please?
Awesome.
He's a good egg.
All right, so 11 matches down, 1 match left, because it's time for your main event.
And a timely intervention by the Icon.
Your main event. See, you know, you never get to hear. We do it back to back when we're recording, but you never hear that on the show. This is the inside scoop. It's world title versus career. Swerve Strickland, the AEW champion, versus Bryan Danielson. Shka going into it. Oh, hey, Swerve. It's announced he has re-signed with AEW at least until 2028. And, you know, they have some pictures of that. And I was like, I love that Prince Nana's there with him, you know, overseeing the proceedings.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, he had a hand in negotiation where it's like Toni kind of lowballs him and I was like, oh, that feels like a small dance, and if he says a bigger number, his dance gets bigger. And the big scar from Brian, so that's Swerve. Brian, he tried Greg's vegan sausage roll.
Okay, well, what was his opinion on Greg's?
Okay, he was very polite. I think that he might be in bed with Greg's because he was like, it was kind of nice, yeah. Hey, Splicey.
It's not really, it's more just like a pastry.
Yeah.
Like, which is nice.
Yeah.
I much prefer the sausage roll to this. This feels very unhealthy.
Yeah.
This feels unhealthy in like at least in like a bready way.
Yeah.
Points go to the UK.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. I just, my favourite quote from the build-up, Brian finally admits it, I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world.
Yes.
Which is what everyone else has been saying about him for the last 20 years. Question for you. Did the stipulation, because he had told us this before All In last year, like that I'm planning to retire and I'm going to do it on my own terms. And now he's doing a stip, the Ric Flair retirement stip. Next time I lose, I'm retired. Did that stipulation of his career affect your interest in the match?
Honestly, no, because I could very much see Bryan Danielson being happy with his lot in life and with what he's done in professional wrestling. And I could have seen him saying, okay, yeah, you know, like I'm done. I'm going home.
I genuinely was of the opinion that this was his last match. This was his retirement match because they laid it on so thick that it even caught me off guard. And the fact that there was reports at the same weekend as Swerve re-signing, Bryan Danielson was doing interviews where he said, yeah, I definitely need surgery sooner rather than later because I'm hanging in there. And I'm just getting all the other optics that we will see as we talk about the match. All the other optics pointed to, yeah, this is Bryan going out in style and I'm here for it. So I was completely bamboozled. I was adamant that Bryan Danielson was hanging it up at Wembley.
Ooh, okay.
You are my reason to keep pushing, and you are my reason to strive to be the best possible version of myself. I will always choose you. Always.
Brian gets a quickie pre-match promo package saying everything is for his kids as they make him strive to be the best version of himself. It's so lovely to see how over he is. You can't help but root for him because he's such a great guy.
He is beloved. It's a Mick Foley level of he's a good guy and we want the good guy to win.
Even if that's actually not what we would like, because that means he'll quit and go home into the sunset.
Yeah.
You know, comes out to the final countdown.
Holy, the Tony Khan, you madman.
Which I remind you almost takes 2 full minutes to hit the chorus. Awesome, because obviously this is his ROH theme, and he said he picked it as it was the #1 worst song on some music magazine when he picked up in the 2000s. Swerve's entrance, it's so funny because Swerve is super serious with Flash and B-Bone rapping, and Prince Nana is doing his thing, and everyone in the arena in the press box is like, oh my god. Side note, it's so fucking cool to see how Swerve has grown to a main event talent. Like, it was only 3 years ago he was in NXT winning the North American title.
Yep.
Amazing. Yep. Ooh, and who's that on commentary? It's good old JR hot dogging in the main event.
By God almighty.
You know, I was in the same locker room for a good while today with Danielson. It seems to me like it takes him a little bit longer to warm up, to get loosened up, to get prepared physically. And I think that could be a concern in this match.
Yeah, and I saw some of that also, JR, early.
Kick off with some sweet exchanges and counters. I know it's not important, but Swerve does a hip toss and then rolls into position for a suplex, hoists him up and gets kneed out of it, arm wringer. Oof. It looks like Swerve could have dislocated his shoulder, and it looked amazing. Danielson tries for a label lock on said shoulder, and it'd be hilarious if he just tapped out. That's it.
Good night, folks.
ROH signature move, a springboard cannonball, and later we get a tiger suplex, but no cattle mutilation today. I love how the cannonball, Brian, if you have a look at it here in slow-mo, has proper physics rather than like graceful ballet, let me get all the hang time, showboat leap, you know? It's like a hurtle myself into you real move. And Swerve breaks his fall completely. He does it so well. Referee Paul Turner misses Brian's boot first time, but not the second, taking him out just long enough for Nana to slip a ring bell on the apron as Brian's head got DVD'd onto it. Fantastic spot.
Great stuff.
Beautiful. Perfect. I literally went oof when I saw it. And Carney Bryan takes the opportunity to blade.
Yes. I wish we could have worked the ring bell so that when he got dumped on it, it went ding.
Oh, we needed a ding.
I'll splice in a ding. Have
Yeah. Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, look, Nana just running the ring bell. Oh, head driver on the ring bell. His head hit that bell. Oh my God.
He can't survive that.
Swerve poses readying to stomp Brian's head. You know, he has the arms up, which is a Bryan Danielson special. And the prophecy of his tights are fulfilled. He posted a picture of his tights and it has this exact spot. Phenomenal.
And he did it right in front of Danielson's kids as well, which just makes it even better. Just adds to the drama. And anytime you make kids cry, brah, it means the world.
Brian dodges the Swerve stomp to roll into applying an STF and then a tiger suplex on the mat. No way for Swerve to protect himself. He survives that. Okay then, how about a tiger suplex from the top turnbuckle?
Tiger throw pit, don't do this, Danielson.
It's tiger suplex from Danielson. Oh my God.
Swerve, you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in. Loving this ROH moveset. So Brian, okay, that's a lot of moves Swerve took. What are you taking, mate? A vertebraker. Vertebraker.
It's so weird because you went to that and I saw it and the big TNA mark in me went Gringo Killer.
Hey. Doesn't end it, so it's time to break out the big guns. Top rope coup de grace, house call. Brian is woozy, reaching out to his family's corner saying, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Getting another house call. But Danielson kicks out and Wembley erupts.
1, 2. No, Danielson! He just popped his shoulder up. I don't know if it was instinct or just heart. And this place going nuts.
Swerve delivers chest kick after chest kick, and Danielson no-sells, hulking up, shouting to his family, I love you so much. And
that may be my favourite spot I've ever seen in professional wrestling. I was marking out at home watching this. He got me hook, line and sinker.
They're not random kicks either, Tony. All in one area.
Looking at his family, rising to his feet, my God. He's getting fired up, man. Swerve's in trouble. Swerve's in trouble.
Chops and yes kick Swerve. Busaigo knee. Swerve just brushes it off and evilly cracks a smile. And the wind completely goes out of the stadium.
That was outstanding.
Wasn't it just?
House call. Big pressure. That has to be it. 1, 2, no! Brian survives and the crowd loses their minds. Hangman comes to ringside and security swarms him, completely taking Swerve out of it. Turn around into a Busaigo knee. 1, 2, no! Back to a stalemate for the final sequence. Hands locked. The two exchange elbows, kicks, and even headbutts. Counter. Swerve rolls forward and into another knee. The crowd erupt in yes chants. Knee to the back of the head. Label lock. It's in the center of the ring. Will Swerve tap? Breaks the hand free, but Brian goes to break his fingers. Switches it up and Swerve taps. Bryan Danielson is the 9th and new AEW World Champion.
Back in!
Magnificent. Absolutely the best of professional wrestling that we got to see.
3.5 star.
I can't think of the last time I was this emotionally invested in a professional wrestling match. They had me. They took me through the highs and lows, the creamy middles. It built and it built and it built, and it was wonderful. Just pro wrestling art. Oh, loved it.
I love how, as wrestling fans who know so much about the business, and I spend all my day reading about the inner workings and getting reports of what's happening and who's winning and who's losing and all this stuff, I can't tell you how wonderful it is just to be somewhere like that and just lose yourself like you're 13 years old watching it for the first time. It's a feeling that when that special feeling hits, it never quite goes away. And I felt like that, especially in that little closing sequence of Swerve and Danielson. I wasn't at Wembley Stadium. I was front and center in watching it on my TV. Mentally, it didn't matter. There was 50,000 people all around me. I was just fixated on what was happening in there. And I love, through all the bollocks, through all the noise, that wrestling can still get you like that. And these two absolutely did. I'd say this was a superior main event to All In's main event last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Jesus, you guys said it all there. Celebration-wise, I love Wheeler running after Birdie to hoosh her into the ring. Hilarious. Big uncle energy on him. And Pac being physically in the ring during the celebrations.
It was so funny. He did nothing. I was like, oh, why is he there?
Yeah, just stone-faced. Loved it. Oh, the reporter box does have a small low-def monitor. It's a crisp 360p here. But you can get to see a wee bit more of the show after the broadcast ended, which is mostly Justin Roberts saying, oh, thanks, see you in Wembley in 2026. Yeah, I'm just splicing it here. Oh, by the way, congrats to Europe, now 3-0 in AEW. Brian has always won with this song. Brian, I actually fought against the decision to become AEW champion, as well as this and like the retirement stip that he's imposing. Brian losing is going to be gigantic, as he'll lose the title and his career. It'll be a confluence of emotions. Like, I thought it's kind of mean because he'll snuff out someone else winning the championship in their night, because it'll be immediately everyone will look at Brian.
Yeah.
Do you know? But he is the best guy. He's the greatest guy. So I imagine he will give the belt over to whoever's taking the belt off him, and it'll be a wonderful moment. Do you know?
It'll snuff out their night, but then that person will, you know, if they pick the right person, they'll go forward and go, I'm the guy that took Bryan Danielson away from you.
Oh.
Like, that is such a great story. You've got to spend some real time cherry picking who that is going to go to, because that is a hell of a line. I took the greatest wrestler that this industry has ever given us. I took him away from you. It can't just be any old person. It can't just be a random heel. You've got to really think of somebody that you want to use that to propel them for years and years and years to come. I wonder whether the person that finally does beat Bryan Danielson, we haven't seen yet.
Ooh, that's an intriguing thought. That'd be strapping the rocket to someone.
Son of Borden.
Garrett Borden. Get in there, lads.
It's
Garrett
his destiny.
Yeah.
It's my destiny.
Okay, and so let's take it to the aftermath. Welcome to the aftermath. V1, what did you think of All In London 2024?
I thought this was a fucking great show. Not from top to bottom, because there were lulls. Looking at you, Jericho, Hook. Looking at you, Britt and Mercedes. Piri and Darby. It was disappointing because it should have been better.
Yeah.
But we got a great ladder match. We got an awesome casino battle royal. Fantastic tag match. We got
Casino Royal Rumble?
No, casino battle royal.
But battle royal means everyone has to be in the ring at the start.
It's what they call it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Toni!
Well, they can't call it a Royal Rumble because that's trademarked.
A Rumble Royal?
Rumble Royale.
A Royal Rumble. They can have that one.
Yeah.
Toni and Mariah May was fantastic. Obviously, then we had Max and Ospreay and the main event. So we got like 6 really good matches, 3 incredible matches, storylines that built and were paid off, amazing moments, an incredible send-off, like heartfelt, genuine, emotional moments in pro wrestling that don't come along that often, because wrestling can be quite a cynical, dirty thing, you know what I mean? And genuine joy doesn't happen that often. So yeah, I thought this show delivered. I thought it was significantly better than last year's show. And if you haven't seen it and you just want to watch good pro wrestling, check it out, man. It's brilliant.
All right. Tom, what do you think, mate?
I think genuinely the best show AEW's ever put on, and I'm trying my best to not let the bias of being there and being around it take it over. I'm trying to look at it from face value. It wasn't a perfect show by all means, but I don't think we'll ever truly get a perfect show. There was matches that were long that could have been short. There were matches that were short that could have been a bit longer, and there was a lot of stuff on the pre-show that left a lot of us feeling a bit haggard. But so much of a show like this is all in what you go away with, and what you go away with isn't a weird swerve, isn't not pun intended, isn't something that throws you off the scent. It isn't something that leaves you feeling a bit winded and a bit wounded. It's something that genuinely makes you feel warm and good about yourself. And I genuinely think Bryan Danielson winning that world title, I would find it really difficult for even the most ardent anti-AEW fan to not watch that and not feel something. I think if you watch that and you don't even feel a slither or something, I think you're a liar. Yeah, I genuinely think the best show that this company's ever put on.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's so much fun. It included some stellar bouts and mark out moments. I made a gigantic mistake of making a concerted effort to just watch the ring and not like the giant telly above it or the monitor in front of me, just the ring, and watch the crowd reactions. It meant I couldn't follow the story at all. I didn't know what was going on. No commentary as well, obviously. Terrible idea. Highly recommend never doing that. Just watch the big screen, you know. But as a positive, it means the best way to ingest the pay-per-view is by watching it on telly, which thankfully is how most people would watch it. So
which
good.
is why I didn't want to go this year, because I had way more fun watching it on TV.
You missed some of the good stuff, like, for example, during the Hook and Jericho match, where they had the Jericho Hook graphic, and they just had Hook's normal image, but they've badly photoshopped, like, a patch and a hat on top of him. It's so fucking dreadful. You miss all that good stuff.
Oh, man.
You're only watching the ring.
But, oh my God, just being in the crowd for Nigel as well. Holy shit, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But I was also in the crowd for Fozzy for the 8th time. You know?
And do you think there's a human on this earth who's seen Fozzy more than you? Because you're now one more than me.
Yeah,
you were
I know.
at All In 2024.
Not since you two put their album on everybody's iPhones have we been tricked into listening to shit music quite like that.
Steve, you got time for a scrum?
Yes.
The scrum! Holy shit, wrestling is fake. Oh my god.
Do. That's it, right?
Before you go on any further, I just want to say I hate professional wrestling scrums. I think they're fucking garbage. This weird mixture of shoot and kayfabe, doing angles at them, the reluctance to actually answer questions, I just think they're garbage.
You will have to sift through whatever, an hour and a half of garbage storyline for like a halfway human response as well. Because there's a lot of shill questions like, why are you so great?
Yeah.
How did it feel to be in a great show?
It's the only kind of entertainment that you'd have this. Like, imagine if they, after like the 1000th episode of EastEnders, they did a press conference and they chatted like Grant and Phil Mitchell in character going, oh, when I get back in the pub, I'm going to sort them out. It's so weird.
When we walked into the classroom there, RJ, Renee, and Daddy Magic are already in full swing. Swing? They're doing their shtick where they bounce off each other in a quick jab and a lighthearted fake bollocks. Oh my God. I love you guys, but Jesus Christ, this is killing me. What was fun is that, obviously, since you're there, you can just look off to the side, and here, there's Paige and the whole caravan are waiting to talk. So... And they bust in on they bust in on, you know, and she cuts her potty mouth promo where she just drops F-bombs. It's terrible work promo.
You ever do that again, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. You hear me? Do you hear me?
I hear you.
And then she ends it, well, my dad will beat you up if you're a he or a she, if you're a they, because we're non-discriminatory.
That's so funny.
Well done. Shivani pops in and tells Daddy Magic to zip up his jacket, for fuck's sake. Brilliant. Brian with Birdie on his lap. Oh, it's so nice. He's such a great guy and a great dad. And it was like, oh yeah, I was telling my kids not to watch, but man, we're using plenty of ketchup in this match.
That was so sweet.
He was saying, you know, it's a big stadium. I love wrestling and, you know, such a huge crowd, but, you know, I wouldn't mind wrestling again in Butlins. In Bognor Regis in front of 45 people.
I know, right? It's fucking amazing.
That's something that the American audience don't really have or get when I've interviewed people about the Butlins and the camp shows. It's that whole thing of, it's like grinding for XP for wrestlers, because you'll have this captive audience for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you'll go through all the things that you want to get right and you want to work on, you want to tweak, and you've got all that time to do it. I think it's, if I was ever in that industry, I'd never want to be a wrestler, but I would genuinely do like a run in Minehead and just grind for XP before I went and did something else.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I just want to give out about, there was some like Irish guy there, right? Danielson has asked the question, okay? So it was like, hey, so you had an amazing night tonight and you won the belt. So what's next? And he's like, honestly, I haven't thought past tonight. I have no plans going forward. I don't know what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then Mike gets passed on. It's like, hi, Johnny, Irishman here. So what's next for you?
Oh, for God's sake. You didn't listen to the question beforehand.
Yeah.
And it was Jack Atkins, who works for us. You met him last year at All In.
Yeah.
He hates these press conferences. He hates when people say, oh, congratulations on your win. And I'm going to embarrass him now because he was in that All In media scrum. Orange Cassidy comes up. First thing he says, Jack Atkins, Cultaholic, congratulations on your hard-fought victory. Like, you arsehole. Splicey.
Jack Atkins, cultaholic.com. Orange, congratulations on a very hard-fought victory tonight.
Jack, great crack with him. Yeah, we were because we were waiting for like 40 fucking minutes for Toni to come in. So we were having a great laugh with him, yeah. Brian, when asked, how did you come across Final Countdown? He's like, I downloaded it off Napster. Don't listen, Toni. And then it finishes with Uncle Dave. And I was like, you really are part of the show.
I thought that was like Dave being the absolute best worker ever. I thought that was so funny. Asking Birdie, hey Birdie, would you like to go to Australia or Tokyo with your daddy? And I was like, oh, Dave. Doing him else.
Like, that's so nice, but it's like, well, you're part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, you were trying to hawk him going.
Totally.
Brian, Dave, Birdie, how did you like the trip to London? And this is a trick question now. How would you like a trip to Australia?
Mariah May comes out with a pre-prepared eulogy for Toni.
She died of natural causes because I am naturally better than her in every way.
On one hand, I appreciate you doing homework for us. On the other hand, it's like, I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got nothing out of that one now.
Mercedes Mone. I was just watching her. It's such a facade with her starlet persona who spouts her catchphrases, Mone talks, or whatever it's just so fake. A human isn't talking, you know?
Yeah, because like the best wrestlers are just themselves, you know? And either she's a very bad actor, which she is, or if this is what she's actually like.
Like she's just fake in general.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's quite funny because her and Toni are trying to plug them going to Australia next year. It's like, oh, where should I wrestle next? Like Australia or Paris? And it's so hard not to just shout out things in your head because, Swindon!
Minehead!
Bognor Regis!
To Butland, you coward!
Brian from PW Torch asks Monet about her divorce of 8 years that she revealed had ended a few weeks prior. They've been separated for a while.
Yeah. What are you doing there, mate?
Well, actually, I think the way that went was a bit misconstrued because he opened it by saying, I want to talk about your divorce. And she really went to town on him. I was like, oh, yeah, you want to bring that up? Like, she was quite aggressive with him. And then he said, oh, if you let me finish my question, what advice would you offer to people in a similar situation? To which she backpedaled like you're watching Tour de France in Rewind. Because she's like, oh, I think, you just follow your heart and do what's right for you. I think she realised that she'd bitten a bit too quick.
Yeah.
And he hadn't finished answering his question, I think.
Which actually happens with the next guy as well. Because Hook is up next and he mugs because I can't cut a promo. So I just put my chin out to the microphone. And poor Sam from WrestleSphere, he says, oh, you know the way FTW belt was a joke. And like they cut him off immediately.
Really do.
He's
go to
apologetic.
town.
Yeah. And Toni, he handles it very well, saying, oh, actually, it was serious. And here's a wee ECW story where it's like, Taz, you must be a bad motherfucker to wrestle in this environment of ECW. You know, great spin. But it's like, okay, so what do you call a title that you bring from home and wear on TV? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're now thinking of synonyms for a joke that is more palatable.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I said pointless, least prestigious, a prop to try to raise the profile of
Trinket.
Pittance.
Your man Sam was trying to say, if it started as kind of a joke, but look at it now and what it means and how it's grown into kind of their hardcore title, you know, how big, you know, it's grown so much is what he was trying to say, but they bit way too quickly. He couldn't even finish a sentence.
Yeah.
And they misconstrued it really badly.
Yeah, and I saw that Taz had a go at him on Twitter or something like that, and then he apologized on Twitter, and I was just like, maybe like Tom said, you know, with the previous question, maybe let people finish their sentence first. Yeah.
And I get it, because there's a bit of an anti-AEW sentiment around time of recording, certainly. I think everybody's a little bit tetchy and everybody's a bit on the defensive.
Oh, you know what happens when you call me tetchy?
And they're not going to take any bullshit anymore, and I think that's a big issue.
Yeah, totally. In saying that, I would like to see the FTW belt go away. I don't think it adds anything to anything.
Like, the Cultaholic Championship belt is more prestigious because you have to win that. You don't get given that belt. You earn it.
We earn it by correctly guessing who's going to win fake wrestling matches.
Yes.
Exactly.
weird Jack the Jobber. And oh my God, whoa, no.
So now, the FTW Championship is officially retired.
Will Ospreay! He is ecstatic and charming, humble, grateful and overjoyed to be in his current position and how things have gone. Marked out to being on home soil with familiar faces as lad from his local newspaper was there, the Romford Recorder.
That was so great.
Hi, Will. I'm from the Romford Recorder, your local paper.
Yes, son!
Get in, boy.
How are you?
I'm okay, bro. Yourself?
Mate, I'm doing well, boss. Now that you're here, especially.
Explain, a local lad.
Oh, he was in. Then he sidetracks into when Ospreay was 14. Him and a few lads did backyard wrestling and got a small venue for it. His mate's ma wouldn't let your man wrestle, but he did it on the quiet anyway. And the local newspaper covered it and put the poor lad on the front page. Rumbled.
It's so good. He's so likable. His affect is just so positive, and he just screams top babyface. He should be the top guy when Danielson is gone. Like, he's just so likable.
Anything on Ospreay?
Genuinely just a lovely guy. I think there was a lot of people thought that maybe the main event of this show should have possibly been Swerve and Ospreay for the world title. Ospreay was keen to get himself taken out of that conversation as soon as possible. That's why Swerve and Ospreay had the main event at Forbidden Door instead of here, so it wasn't a conversation. But the general vibe is, and it's true, Will Ospreay is going to be in AEW for years and years and years to come. Like, he's going to be part of these Wembley Stadium events for years and years to come.
So they're like, well, let's do the Danielson one this year. Let's do something big with Will and MJF. And you know what? Maybe 2026, maybe that is where we have Will Ospreay in the main event there for the world title. Maybe we do it Wembley in 2026.
Oh my God. Hell yeah. Oh my God.
Yes. Book it, Tony. You coward.
You coward, Tony. Book it.
Speaking of, finally, Tony Khan, 30 minutes himself. We didn't get out till after midnight. You're worth $10 billion, mate. Don't you have a home to go to?
No.
Most of it was him being lovely and grateful. Yeah, he's such a warm and lovely affectation on him. Great guy. Sounds like such a huge mark, which is so awesome.
He talks for a long time.
Oh my God. One point I did love was tonight's show had the theme of family. Dynamite Kid's nephew, the Von Erichs, Dustin Rhodes, Paige Here, and the whole caravan.
I love how her family is put on even footing with, like, the fucking Rhodes and the Harts and the Von Erichs. All right.
He'll glass you for that.
It's so fucking funny.
Taz and Hook, the Waynes, Billy Gunn and Billy Sons, and of course Bryan Danielson's career is based on his family. I did try to get a question, but you just couldn't. It was just the shills were putting their hand up and asking how you're so great. So I was like,
they do keep going back to the same people over and over. It's incredibly frustrating.
Because I had my hand up for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
It's really annoying.
And like, the only thing you could hear is that at the very end of the scrum, I shouted, "Oh, where is you?"
Good lad. Good lad.
Splicey.
Thank you for coming to AEW All In, and I hope I see you all again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Post scrum, I did ask Renee, hey, what's your favorite Oasis song? Because she dropped, oh, hey, Oasis have announced they're reforming today. And so obviously she's into it. She said, The Girl in the Dirty Shirt. And it was like, oh man, be here now, you smelly mark. That's a terrible choice. Oh, there you go. Great, excellent. That does it for a whopper bumper edition of All In and the Scrum. Sorry, Tom, is there anything you want to mention?
Thank you very much for having me. Honestly, this has been a ball.
Oh, mate, it's our pleasure. That was so much fun, by the way. That was great crack. And you're a fucking trooper. Oh, that was a long ass session as well.
Yeah, I'm like, I can threaten OOC with this.
Yeah.
That's how well it's gone.
That's it.
When I saw you, it was after midnight, and then you were like, I'm up at 7 to record a thing for Cultaholic, and then when that's finished, I'm going to go and announce for Progress. It's like, fucking hell, Tom. Just absolute work at the Cesaro of the wrestling world.
Well, look, it's one of those weekends I just want to do it all, drink it all in, and I'll ride my body like I stole it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. It was just the fact that if I didn't have that mentality, I would have gone, oh, I can't beat Jay because I've got to do the progress. I ended up being like half an hour late for progress, but I thought it was fucking worth it because we got to hang out. So, and it all worked out fine, and they seemed quite happy. Despite the fact that my voice was fucked, they were still very happy with what I did.
Oh, awesome. And it all works out in the end. Jeez, getting out of your comfort zone or doing crazy shtick as well, it all works out. Oh, like they can see the la passion.
La passion.
They see the mucho respecto you give them.
Respect.
Respect.
I love how positive you are with things, and I love how you do things to make other people's day better as well. And that's the most important thing to you. Like, when I met you randomly after we got out, Toni let us out after midnight.
Toni let you out?
You know, I saw you in the street, and the first thing is like, oh, one of your fans, I met one of them, would you mind doing a video for him? And it was like, this isn't the thing for Cultaholic, it's not a thing for OSW, it's just a random guy that you met, that you had a laugh with.
Yeah.
Can we make his day? I was like, jeez, what a fucking great guy. Oh my god. I gotta get my tendrils into it. Seep that goodwill. Oh, fantastic, Tom. No, it was lovely chatting to you, and lovely to get you on the show finally as well. So, Tom, lovely having you on. I gotta stop saying the word lovely. Beautiful have you on.
Sexy have you on.
Yeah, alright, that just gives us enough.
Deeply sexual to have you on.
Alright, so listen, let's just wrap it up on this incredible journey, Dell All in London. And before we get stabbed on the way out, so it's a good bye from B1.
Take a boo.
And Tom.
Love you, bye.
And myself, the 2.5 time, unfortunately, it hasn't gone up since the last event. Jay Hunter, and remember, a winner is you.